Okay, we're back. So, please let me know how this sounds. I've had a wee play about with the settings on OBS and on the audio interface as well. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it sounds a lot clearer right now. I've been monitoring the output from the actual laptop that I'm streaming from as well. So it's coming through a lot cleaner. So fingers crossed, that sounds a lot better. But please let me know in chat how this is sounding, and don't worry, we will catch you up to all the action that's been happening. Kyle has been tableside for the last turn, so we'll be able to summarise and let you know kind of what's been happening with the game. So yeah, apologies for any issues with the audio, but please let me know if that sounds any better at all. So Grace, you're saying yes, sounds clearer, fantastic. Okay, good. Thank you very much, Grace here. So hopefully, I think we'll probably just keep it at that. If you do need me to, I can also boost the microphone ever so slightly as well to try if that sounds better as well, folks. Make sure that you can obviously hear over all this background noise. But I'll take that as a win. I'm on zero drop frame rates now that we restarted the stream. And the fact that it's sounding a lot clearer as well is music to my ears. So thank you very much. I will also make sure that when this gets then fully uploaded to YouTube, I'll cut all of the audio issues out as well. So fantastic. So let's check back in with Kyle. We'll give you the summary of what's happened in the turn, and then we'll go from there. So here he comes back. He's been such a good boy, standing next to the table, letting me know what's been happening. Okay, Kyle, so what's been going down since we've been having the audio issues?
Yep, so we've moved into Richard's turn 1 there, and he's gone for the battle tactic of overwhelming numbers, which is a Seraphon one, where he's picked the middle objective that here we can see here on the left-hand side that's currently contested by those warriors, and he has to take that objective, and he has to, every unit that is contesting that objective needs to have the skink keyword.
Fantastic.
So he's hoping that even if Nathan murderlusts with those reavers on the left-hand side there into combat with the skinks, that he will be able to move the skinks with enough of a retreat move, if needs be, onto the objective. Nathan instantly chose to use Be'lakor on the Slan.
Oh, interesting.
Not the Incarnate as we thought there.
Okay.
Much better choice than using it on Croak, we agreed. And he failed to prevent the Slan from casting any magic, unfortunately.
Oh no, he failed the
failed
no.
So the Slan went straight in for the +1 to cast, which Nathan unbound. And so he thought that was probably the better one to get off. And then Richard failed his second cast, and he's just going in with the rest of the magic just now.
Fantastic. No, great. Thanks so much for being able to be kind of courtside to that. And the classic fiddling about on ABS and changing a few things seems to have worked. So we've got some good audio now.
Oh,
so
that's much better.
Fantastic. So I take it, I mean, Nathan should have scored 5 points for his first turn. I believe, which then that also gives us a surround and destroy. Perfect. We'll kind of check in on CP and stuff like that as well. But let's just look at the kind of lay of the land so far. So as we've rightly said, we've got the big block of Blood Warriors kind of right here in the middle. We've got 10 Blood Reavers, Claws of Karanak over here, and we've then also got 10 Blood Reavers kind of daisy chaining on this thing up here. On these two objectives up here. And then I take it Rich, is he still in the
hero phase?
In the hero phase, perfect.
Still casting. He was activating his Realm Shaper when I just departed.
Oh, fantastic. So that'll do a nice wee bubble of mortal wounds as well. That'll be good. Shame there. So that's very interesting. Did Nathan give a reason as to why he didn't Be'lakor the Kronspine instead?
I think he thinks that mentioned that he thinks the magic's going to be more oppressive in terms of mortal wound.
I see.
He does have the 5 of Ignore. He thinks that he could probably just wrap the Incarnate up.
Got you.
He's hoping
just keep it there.
Just keeping it there if needs be.
Because
it's bigger, he thinks, to roll the 3 up to have denied the casting.
Yes.
Than it would be to just deny an Incarnate a move.
Fair enough. And I mean, that Slan now is... I know that it failed to lock him down for this hero phase, but potentially could lock him down for the next hero phase.
Yeah, if Richard gets the double, then it could be potentially crippled for another round, which would be big for Nathan, because the Slan's a much better choice than Croak, we think, than apparently.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, because Croak's got the better casting, so...
True. I think potentially just Comet's Call has more of a, I guess, a better targeting than Croak. If Rich wants to bring Croak out and party with Croak, then at least he has to do it sort of danger close, whereas the Slan can just sit back and cast that, and over time potentially just work through Nathan's smaller heroes. But we'll see. So quite a tentative kind of turn one here. Obviously still in the hero phase, guys. We'll check in on Rich after his done and how many summoning points he has, but I guess if he gets every single spell off, I think it taps out at 16, I believe for this list.
Yes. He's currently down to 4 CP now. He got an extra 2 from the Slan.
4 CP?
He's just spent one there to do... I think he's auto-running the Incarnate.
Got you.
Looks like.
So 4 CP... and if he's dropped down to 3, then that's fine. We'll just leave that as is.
No, he's dropping down 2-4 from.
Oh, sorry,
from
dropping
5.
down 2-4. My apologies. Right, okay, God, yes. So Seraphon just so flush with CP thanks to the Slan additional CP, Croak's additional CP, and then Nathan, I would imagine he's probably still on 2.
Still
I
on
think
2,
if he's auto-ran with those
Blood
Reavers, he's on 1 Blood Tithe. In fact, what I might actually do is keep a wee track of the Blood Tithe.
He hero phase. I did ask him about what he did with the Reavers on the side, and he said that he used the hero phase move on those guys.
Yes, so
rather than auto running them. So he didn't auto run anybody in the end.
Fair enough. Okay, perfect. So hero phase move prayers the Killer Instinct.
Yes,
so it was the
correct.
prayer he used, and did he murder lust as well, or no? He just
Murder
kept
lust
the
yet.
blood
No,
tithe.
he's got 1 blood tithe, 2 murder lust, which I think he's probably going to potentially try to use on those skinks.
Yes.
If he rolls a 6, he actually will get enough of a murder lust to prevent the skinks moving onto the objective and denying his battle tactic.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, perfect. So just catching up with chat, we've got Craig Graham saying, "Imagine DJ editing a video. I doubt it." He knows me too well. He knows me too well.
It's a lot of effort to edit a video.
So much effort. Plus, I have to wait for YouTube to upload the bloody thing, and then I need to go in and. So, look, Craig, I know you're just flaming me on chat, but you're probably 100% correct. But we'll see. It remains to be seen. But there's nothing wrong with a wee audio issues. I may well just put timestamps in to say when we can actually start from. So, as you can see there as well, folks, Rich has got his own custom token that he's made that says "Born to be Wild," and I guess this is because he's just put out the Shards of Valagar, and he is going to be moving that Kronspine, charging those shards, and then eating them to make it level 3.
To bump it up straight up to level 3.
Yep.
A very scary thing to deal with.
100%.
Being able to be taken down just 1 level a turn is brutal when it gets to that stage.
100%. And yeah. So Nathan thinks that he can deal with the Incarnate without needing to Be'lakor it. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Looks like Rich is potentially spending another CP on something there as well. He's just lifted up his little counter. Not sure what he's doing. Oh, there you go, down to
so
3.
I guess for Rich, what's we looking at here in terms of we need... So first of all, we need to get 3 objectives to get 1, 2 more. Right now, Nathan is in a pretty good place where he could deny that, couldn't he?
Yeah.
So we've got 10 skinks over here.
Yep, and he teleported 10 right onto the very, very back.
Sneaky. So up here in the very, very back. Okay. So we've got 10 skinks up there. Why do we have 10 skinks up there? Okay.
He was originally thinking he was going to do Surround and Destroy, but he's thinking he's going to save that for later on.
Okay.
And
so he's just kind of staging for another battle tactic, yeah. And obviously he could just summon 10 more skinks as well if he wanted to as well. It's okay, interesting. So he's got 10 skinks there, 10 skinks up there. I mean, those 10 skinks really... They need to make a choice between staying on that objective or moving off and taking the objective off of the Blood Reavers that are currently daisy chaining over 2. But if he does that, then he immediately gives up that objective to Nathan. And if Nathan can start siphoning Richard's home objectives early on in the game, then that's really good for Nathan, obviously. I'm honestly struggling to see how he's then going to get additional objectives here, other than potentially... Is there a world in which he could get anything on here?
on the back right
On
objective.
the very back right objective.
So Richard did look at teleporting the skinks there originally, but it was too tight because of the claws of Karanak, which are just up there. With those warriors at the back, it was too tight to fit for 10 skinks to fit in even with the 25mm bases. So he made the decision to move them onto the left. That's not to say that he won't hero phase teleport them over in the next round.
For sure.
Back over there. So I feel like he is eyeing it up.
And I'm just wondering, there's no way that he could get any heroic summoning in there at the end of the movement phase. No. It does seem quite a ways away. Right, okay, so we'll get rid of those lovely red circles. And we'll kind of see what's happening here. Okay, so it looks like Nathan's pondering something. And we are very reliant on Nathan shouting Blood Tithe any time that he loses a unit or any time he kills a unit, just so we know. So it looks like he is, here comes the Murder Lust. So Nathan has Murder Lusted the 10 Blood Reavers over here, and they've just Murder Lusted right into combat with those skinks. So it looks like those skinks are probably going to die.
Yeah,
and it looks as if they're not going to be able to take part in the holding of objectives.
No, most likely not, which this could be huge because it would deny Richard that battle tactic, the middle us there. So denying the battle tactic really early on could be massive.
That is pretty grim. And that's the thing you need to watch out for, folks, with Khorne. The shenanigans just abound. Like, you think you're fine, and then you'll just go, right, I'll spend a Blood Tithe, and I'm just going to move that thing into combat, completely shut that thing down, so you can't really move with it, can't really do anything. But Richard could still retreat here. There's nothing to say he can't retreat.
Yep. He would need to as well. If he, at the moment, they're just contesting that objective of each other because they're both 10 and 10. The minute even just one skink dies there, it's he loses his home objective. So it's going to be Richard's got a decision to make
for sure in
kind of how he wants to approach dealing with those Reavers, I think.
So talk me through so the battle tactic, the overwhelming numbers. So you have to pick. You actually have to pick the unit. Oh, sorry guys, sorry for that girlish screaming. It looks as if Chris Archibald has done something in his game. Anyway, we'll tell him to calm down.
He's very happy. It's 2 games in a row he's playing against Soulblight Gravelords.
Oh my god.
And he's been doing very well against them, obviously denying all of those zombies their ward save with the wind charges and everything, and it looks like he's reaching a new level of ecstasy. Something has clearly gone off.
So we'll come back to that in a second, because again, Chris was somebody that I'd pegged for potentially doing well into the zombies with that list. So we'll discuss how his game 1 went into zombies, and he's playing Soulblight again. But let's chat about this overwhelming numbers. So,
yes, so
you have to pick the unit.
Yeah, you have to pick the objective. I'm just going to double check the exact wording on it. I did have it up, and it's almost like I wasn't paying attention and got rid of it. So if we have a quick look here at the battle tactic, overwhelming numbers here, you have to pick one objective controlled by the enemy. And you complete the tactic if at the end of the turn, if you control the objective and all friendly units that are contesting that objective have the skink keyword. So it's a little bit interesting there, because it means that you could end up messing up your battle tactic if you end up moving something that isn't a skink onto the objective. So he has to only use skink units.
Got you.
So at the moment with the skinks where they are, it's doesn't look good for them. So if Richard falls 2 points behind this early on, it could be quite hard.
So am I right in saying skinks move 8?
Yes, that's right.
So I'm thinking, even with an 8-inch move, he could potentially get. So what does he need to get? He needs to get at least 6 skinks onto this objective here.
Yes.
To get his battle tactic. Yeah.
That's
so
correct.
if there's any way that Nathan can deny that, obviously this is a big one, because he can't just auto run them all on. He's going to have to retreat out of combat here, and that means he has to move obviously 8. So it's whether or not he can get that many.
Looks like he's about to start going for it.
Now, obviously, this is also going to open up Nathan for a redeploy, and all Nathan needs to do is redeploy a big enough number to get more Blood Reavers on than he has skinks, and then he also denies battle tactics.
If he rolls a 6, he denies it, he said. So
if he rolls a 6?
If he rolls a 6.
That's a big roll. That's a big roll. Okay. Very interesting. So while they are doing that, also we need to obviously just have a wee look out. Kronspine has moved.
Oh yes,
Kronspine is now down next to the shards. So am I right in saying he doesn't even need to charge the shards? He can just heroic action eat them.
That's
sorry,
correct.
Not heroic action. Sorry, he can
rampage.
monstrous rampage eat them.
Yes.
In order to then level up, which is pretty cool.
There you go. Looks like Richard's now moved the skinks onto that objective, which he's managed to do. So.
Oh, perfect.
It looks like you can see there that he's definitely probably going to need a 6, maybe if he wants to deny that, but I'm not actually sure.
Well, so hold on a wee second.
It looks like he's actually moving further down the board.
No, I think Nathan's going to be moving this unit of Blood Reavers to redeploy onto there.
Yes, that's right. That's why he's looking to redeploy with a 6.
So really, he actually needs a 6 to get this.
Yeah, to get enough bodies to deny him, he said.
Interesting. Because it looks like it only needs 5 on, because he's got another 5 from the other Blood Reavers.
Yeah, so he's got. So it looks like what Richard's maybe got 9 skinks on.
9
that
skinks
objective.
on, so probably only needs 4 to deny
if he
this.
knows, yeah, I don't know what he's talking about with this.
I mean, obviously, we're looking at a bird's eye view here. It could be very, very, very close. But yeah, if Nathan rolls big on this redeploy, then that's a drop. That's what we call a fatty dropped batty in the business, mate. So we've seen one already. I mean, this. Oh man, if this happens, this could just be like the stream game is cursed, and like someone's bound to fail a turn 1 battle tactic, because we saw it with Reese.
Yes.
Game 1.
Reese massively just deciding
massive misplay there.
Just not do his battle tactic.
Just to not do an auto battle.
And I did have a catch up with him, and he's decided that since he's already got his golden ticket and he's already off to America, he's now aiming for the prestigious trophy of a wooden spoon.
Oh well, we all know that's a lie, and he needs to have a word with himself, obviously. Now it looks as if Nathan has rolled a 1 for the redeploy. I think that's what they were having.
It does always happen.
I think that's what they were having a nice chat about there, a nice wee giggle about. So there is he's rolled again. What did we get that time? A 6 maybe, or another one possibly. But yeah, so there is a kind of a common theme, there's a common joke. It's like, don't worry for a redeploy. It's always a 1. Yeah, exactly. So that's fine. So it looks like Rich is going to get his battle tactic. That's big. But in terms of holding objectives, it's still pretty grim. So I think Rich is going to walk away with 3 points this turn.
Yeah, he currently only holds 2 objectives.
Yep.
So
that Kronspine's not good enough damage to wipe that block of Blood Warriors.
No, I don't believe so. No.
So there's no way.
Souped up.
Correct. So I think Rich should walk away with 3 points this turn, and then obviously it's into Prio, and then we will the whole starting of the holding objectives and such like that, controlling objectives will really come into play here, because Nathan's got 10 Blood Reavers on one of Rich's home objectives, and Rich doesn't really have a way to get rid of them.
Oh, it looks like Richard's bringing on. It looks like he actually is summoning.
Oh, fantastic!
Looks like he's getting on another 10 skinks onto his home objective.
Ah, I like it. Right, to try again to stop that from happening. Very, very good.
Which means if he can tag that
nice
indeed,
play from Rich. Yep.
Then he'll get his 5.
Agreed. Beautiful. Looks like he's definitely got the space to do so. Oh, it actually looks like 5 rapt. Are those Raptidons? Is it big bases or tiny bases?
It's a movement tray.
I got excited. Yeah, so it looks like 10 skinks coming on, which is really good. Just means that the objective remains Rich. So he's now got 1, he'll have 2, and he will not have more, however, because Nathan can decide to say that his Reavers that are currently here, you can see that they're contesting this objective here, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he gains control, which then means it will start to kind of tick up for him, but it will deny at least a point. So could be looking at 5-4 then, going into turn 2.
Going to round 2, yeah. And then the double I think is going to be massive.
The double, yes. Yep. I mean, if we could get a level 4 incarnate turn 2, if Richard was to get the double here, and yeah, really start putting pressure on these objectives. Sorry, wee bit off there. On these objectives, kind of coming up this alley right here, with the Kronspine, it's going to be very difficult to shift. And then yeah, we'll see how the kind of magical dominance, if it works for Rich as well. Okay, fantastic. Right, so while all this is happening just now, doesn't look like much is happening. Let's go back to the point where we're going to make when we heard Chris Archibald start to squeal. I'm gonna have a wee look back at how he got on game 1. So let's have a look. See. So it looks like the fact that I'm having to scroll right down
So
to
he
the
lost
bottom
against
looks
JB.
like he definitely. I mean, it wasn't looking good. I got an update from Matt, and it was 10 zip at the bottom of turn 2. So yeah, so he has 40 for his troubles. He's went and got himself another Soulblight list. I'm trying to find here actually. Yep, Paul Simpson. Paul Simpson, who's running the list called Da Nicht 2, and he is in Legion of Night. Fantastic. Manfred, Double Vampire Lord, or Venga Lord. The Venga Lord is coming.
Don't see many of them.
No,
which
I
is
mean, we're
nice.
seeing a lot this weekend up here.
Yes,
There's quite a few.
They're really nice models.
Yeah, really nice
it's
models.
just a shame that the Vengorians aren't actually very good. But they look cool.
They look
so.
cool. Then he's got, interesting, so 10 Black Knights, 20 Zombies, 20 Skellies, 3 Fellbats, 20 Graveguards, so not that many zombies. This will be a walk in the park.
Maybe that's why he might be quite happy with. He might have.
Possibly. Maybe he was literally just squealing because he realised I don't have to play 140 zombies. That literally could have been it.
I'm actually going to go and find out what it is.
Yeah, go for it.
Such a girlish scream that we all heard there. So I'll be back in just a moment.
Sounds good, mate. Right, so while Kyle's away, we'll go back to we'll pop back to this game to see what is happening. Perfect. Stuart Logie saying beautiful tones. Oh, I'm guessing that's in response to me singing about the Venga Lord. So thank you very much. So yeah, hopefully the audio's still holding strong, folks. The video's looking pretty smooth, so happy with that. It seems that all I really needed to do is turn it off and on again. So, who knows? What's the other? He's got a. So Nathan's using the Liz dice. This is going into the prio roll. Prio roll. He was both rolled a 6. It's a double 6. Hey, look, the call to arms dice rolled a 6 as well. So yeah, we've got a double 6 for prio. Nathan went first, therefore he holds control of the priority, so he can decide what do we think he's going to do here, Kyle?
If he gives it to Richard, he can attempt to shut down the Slan again, but then he's running the risk of losing quite a lot of models, potentially with the Incarnate being level 4.
Yeah.
So it's swingy. Allow Richard to catch back up.
Yep.
Absolutely. But it also then puts Nathan in a position to double.
Yes. I honestly don't think that Nathan's in a particularly bad position here. I think that he could give it. He could give it. He could see what Rich does, and then he's got the double potential back for himself as well.
Yes,
which
absolutely.
is nice. The Kronspine has got some choices. If it does go into that big block of Blood Warriors, Nathan can just pull from the other edge of the unit, and he'll still outbody the Kronspine on that objective. So Rich is potentially not going to get that back. We also do have Murderlust potential. Multiple Murderlust potential. Well, actually, no, because he has no blood tithe.
No,
he has no blood tithe.
He's used his blood tithe.
Interesting.
Yes.
So, and this is also interesting as well because ideally, I really would have liked to have seen Nathan have at least 2 blood tithe going into turn 2, so that if he was to give it to Rich, then it's quite good because he can just shut down a spell. One spell that he doesn't particularly like the look of, he can just go, nope, you're not doing it. Played a practice game on Thursday night with Nathan. He brought this list, and I gave him a rep into Soulblight Gravelords, and he only had 1 blood tithe going into turn 2. I kept priority into turn 2, and I was able to Blizzard off Be'lakor. So the fact that just having that resource in hand can just stop these little wizards from just doing immeasurable damage to certain units. So he needs to be careful here. So we'll check in with the lads. We'll see what he's decided to do. We have Mr. Ross Sherry. Hello, Ross. Congratulations once again. Very newly happily married there last night. He's just said, good afternoon, lads. Just jumping into the stream for a minute to check that Kyle is alive. Seems rather fresh considering his condition at the wedding. All the best with the tourney. Thanks. So.
Yeah, I was not very... alive's not the word I would use to describe myself this morning, but I'm much better now.
Much fresher.
Much better now.
Good, yeah.
I'll be seeing Mr. and Mrs. Sherry later on this evening.
Oh,
actually,
fantastic.
So nice.
Oh, are they going to pop in?
No, they're having a wee wedding after party
Lovely.
That Taylor said I should go up and say hi, and it gives me an opportunity to actually go and give them their gift and card, which I promptly forgot. And I only realised it when I got to Loch Lomond, and I wasn't prepared to go back down 90 minutes down the M6.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. So that's good. We've also got John Harper. He says, turn me off and on whenever you like, DJ.
Very saucy.
Thank you very much, John. I might just keep you turned off for just now, if it's okay if it's okay with you.
I did find out from Chris, so he got charged by the Black Knights, by the Skeleton Knights, and they did 7 mortal wounds on the charge with the impact hits.
Oh, nice.
And Chris rolled 7 ward saves
Oh,
from Teclis there.
beautiful.
On his Wind Riders, so that's what caused him to be very, very happy
You
to
love
have
to
done
see
that,
it.
and
Love to
he's
see
not
it.
very happy that he's playing Soul Blight. I did ask him.
So played yet again. I mean, there's only, 8 Soulblade players? So, fingers crossed. He doesn't get them again. But yeah, so we'll check in with the lads and we'll see what's the story on the Seraphon versus Khorne. Yeah, so Nathan did take Prio, so I think possibly just to kind of reconsolidate his position on the board and get a bit more control. If he'd have given it, then potentially still could have shut down the Slan, maybe. Don't know how big that would have been, but we do have potential here that maybe he was potentially scared of just the amount of damage that could go into those Blood Warriors, possibly.
Yeah,
because
if Richard got a nastier hero phase off again, also he didn't do very well innately with the rolling.
Yep.
But they did going into that round when Richard started casting. Nathan did have 3 primal dice, so
Yeah.
he doesn't have that now. So perhaps that's potentially what he's like trying to look for to get rid of.
Yes, indeed. So Nathan is saying that he's going for lead into the Maelstrom. So he needs to charge with a hero and a battle line unit, and at least one of those units need to then be in combat at the end of the turn as well. So this will be very easy, especially when you go into a Kronspine.
Yes,
because it's
something will definitely be left
definitely
alive.
going to be there. So it's interesting to see who he's going to do now that he's spent his Be'lakor. He may well just decide to suicide him into the Kronspine. However, it does mean the Kronspine kills him, then he will go up another level. So I don't know if he wants that, but we'll certainly see what his thoughts are. But yeah, Nathan does like a wee cheeky lead in, and he's not like most players who forget to then keep the things in combat at the end. So this should hopefully be a good battle tactic for him to do. I think. Okay, well, every day's a school day, guys, so very interestingly, Matt came over to give me an update, and he stood in front of the laptop where the internet dongle is, and I dropped frames like it was hot. So
Matt's made of lead.
Matt must be. He must have some sort of lead implant in him, maybe. Maybe he's just a robot. He's like an android or something.
He's not,
possibly.
He's not a person.
Correct. So we need to make sure that nobody goes in front of this laptop. John Harper, the lists are in the description down below. So if you just scroll down, click on the paste spin links, you will be able to peruse the lists. Thank you very much. So we have an update from Matt. He has said John versus Alistair. So John versus Alistair M. So Alistair Maxwell, this must be John Bayliss. Let's have a look at this matchup here then. So let's see what table we're at. So I believe these boys both won game 1. So where's John versus Alistair? Let's find him. Yep, table 8. We've got John versus Alistair. Looks like a great game. John is putting pressure on Alistair, fighting for points now. So Alistair isn't running the usual non-myriad OBR. He's running Mortis Praetorians, which I'm sure John's very happy with, because it means that his magic can actually do something. So yeah, expect that to be a very good game. Alistair does have tanky OBR units, and John does have magical dominance. So it's all about mortal wounds to
John's
see.
Been doing very well. He's not been able to come to many tournaments this year.
Yep.
So this is good practice for him, I think.
No, for sure.
Enjoying going on. Not seen John in ages actually, so it's nice to see him playing rolling some dice again. I think the last time I actually saw him was maybe Skirmish, maybe I think. Potentially.
Okay.
Quite some time ago now.
Yeah, I think you'll find a lot of the guys who were at Worlds have taken quite a good break. Kind of after they came back from Worlds, there's a lot of burnout. There was a lot of reps that we had to go through and stuff like that. So I know for myself that when I came back, I didn't go to my next tournament until like another 2 months, and then I think John's much the same. So there's quite a bit of that, but it's good to see. I think most of the boys are back, or at least the guys that went to Worlds have all now went back to their first tournaments. And I'm sure we'll see the other guys back as well. But yeah, the Scottish scene, but it's also just good to show that the Scottish scene's thriving regardless.
Yeah, it's very
There's
good.
Hundreds of players
And Broken
here.
Realms, like always sold out in like hotcakes.
Yeah.
So always
No.
good to see people.
It's a
come
great
back here.
time, and a great time up at the Campanile. Okay, so let's go back to the game. So we've got Nathan taking Prio. We're moving the Blood Warriors up. Here they come. Here they come. We'll also double check about CP, and we'll also double check about Blood Tithe as well. Nathan could well have received Blood Tithe from his prayer from the Slaughter Priest. So we'll have a check in on that. It's very useful to know how many of those he has in hand, because that's where the con shenanigans comes from. So we need to make sure we keep a track on that. So he's looking for lead, so he could just charge his Blood Warriors in to the Kronspine. He could also charge the Blood Warriors all the way into Croak's castle, because he has a 3d6 charge from the Bloodthirster.
Yes.
So he may well just romp these boys forward. We have a kind of a screen of Saurus Guard in front of all those heroes, but these Blood Warriors could obviously easily clear that, and then really it's like, can those heroes clear the Blood Warriors before they then come in and do their stuff?
Before they die
as
themselves,
well.
yeah. Those the Source Guard though are very good, ridiculously. Seraphon, of course, must have to just get a different bodyguard rule from everybody else, and that enables them to still take their saves and everything.
Well, they're special. They're special snowflakes, so they get to have the good stuff. So yeah, really cool. Interesting to see how he's going to go about getting these objectives. So he very easily could just take the middle objective here, back off of Rich if he so wished. If he does do that, then he will siphon that off though, however, because that's 2 consecutive of his turns that he's controlled that, so it will be gone. So even though Rich took it back off of him, if he then retakes it back immediately, then it's gone.
Yes.
It's gone for good. So I'm interested to see whether he wants to try and do that on that objective, or whether he would want to try and push onto this back objective here. Because through a combination of charges, because you could charge those Blood Reavers into these skinks here, so he could charge those boys down, and then he could still like kind of daisy chain them almost onto this objective, outbody Rich on that objective, and then start the clock ticking on that. It's actually even better for Nathan, because it then means that his control of this one turns off, or the fact that he controlled it in his last turn then turns off. He could go back onto that and score that for another 2 turns, right? And the only thing really stopping it getting in the way of that is skinks, and they will just die to stiff breeze, so they'll definitely die to 10 Blood Reavers. Right?
Yeah, and it's not something that Rich is too worried about losing either.
Yeah, exactly.
So he can afford to just kind of enjoy them falling off, and if he removes them from the board, he's just happy to summon them back on instantly. Didn't have a chat with him pre-game, and it looks like skinks are pretty much the only things he likes to summon.
Nice.
It's some of the easiest things for him to summon, just because they're so cheap that he can still do that, and then still have the points to do the mortal wounds. With
exactly.
rounds.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You just want point. You just want the most efficient things. I know that beforehand we had a game and he was really loving summoning the Raptidons, but yeah, I think Skink's just the most points efficient thing. 10 bodies on a point, like easy peasy. Plus they also then factor into the Fangs of Totic redeploy strats and stuff like that as well, which is nice. So yeah, looks like we're just seeing some debating from Nathan as to where he's going to be moving. He definitely does have a 3d6 charge on with this big old block of and he is suiciding Be'lakor. Yes, you love to see it. So Be'lakor's going to be charging the Kronspine. Can the Kronspine kill Be'lakor?
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
It depends. Nathan would be very, very happy if he makes all his ethereal saves.
Potentially, yeah.
Please move back from the... Move back. You block the Wi-Fi. Yeah. It's weird, but we found out that when...
this is just Kyle just educating Reese to not stand in front of the... or stand in front of the dongle.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, it would appear. Although I will say they never dropped off for Reese. It was just it's just for Matt.
wonder if he's got any metal in him.
Matt has definitely got some. He's like, it's either that. He's like Magneto. Magneto. So that's okay. So he's definitely got a 3d6 charge on there. If he really, really wants to just shove this block of Blood Warriors right into Rich's face, he can do, and then just say, "I have 60 wounds."
Deal with it.
Deal with that. And he could be rolling 5 up to ignore getting Blood Tithe as well. So yeah, we've got that option there as well. I can see the little Bloodthirster just sitting back here. He will also be he'll be giving it the 3d6 charge. I could also imagine as well that he'd really like to get him within 8 inches of the Cron Spine to give it the -1 to hit.
Yes.
Just to really
any form of debuffs.
Yeah, any sort of debuff would be great. And then also it means that Be'lakor could start wailing into the Cron Spine to get it down levels. Chances are it probably won't kill Be'lakor back. The 4-up Ethereal is just really, really great. Ethereal's great against his Cron Spine. I used to play Nighthaunt all the time into Cron Spine, and people would complain and say, "Oh, the Cron Spine's busted, I just can't deal with it." And I'm just like, what? He doesn't do anything.
It's okay when you ignore me.
Oh, exactly. So when you've got 4-up Ethereals, you just roll 4-ups and don't do anything. And it was very easy just, again, to kind of tick them down as well. So it looks as though, I need to double check with Nathan, but I believe that was a hero phase move he just did.
Yes,
and
now he's
got a proper
so
move as
doesn't
well.
even need the 3d6.
Doesn't even need it, but it's still great to have because it just means even with a redeploy here, like chances are he's still going to make it as well. So very nice. So I believe Nathan's now down to 0. Oh no, not 0 because that's not a Blood Tithe. That is a prayer. Nice, I like that. And with Nathan, he does obviously, he's a very, very good player, and he'll always think about, well, if I use this prayer, what am I giving up to do that? So I don't think he needs a bleeding icon.
No, he doesn't look like he's brought that out yet.
Don't think he needs.
I'm wondering if he did Bronze Flesh then and gave that up.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good shout. And then hopefully maybe he'll just keep 2 Blood Tithe in hand to stop Cosmic Crush.
Yes.
Because that could be really bad.
So it's very nasty.
That could just be 30 mortal wounds if he doesn't stop that.
And that could just instantly lift it.
Correct. So that's nice. So it looks as if, yep, he's done Killer Instinct. We'll double check with him there, but I believe that's what's happened here, which means then, yeah, we could really just get a full-on block of Blood Warriors right into Rich's face. Could even tag up the Cron Spine as well as Be'lakor going in. Claws of Karanak are wanting some action as well because he just wants Blood Tithe at this stage.
I think at this stage, he just wants the Blood Tithe. He's happy if things die. He's happy if the Incarnate gets stuck and top it. So it's either way, it's pretty much of a win-win there for Nathan. Tying it up with Be'lakor and the Claws. If the Claws die, it's a Blood Tithe. If the Incarnate can't go anywhere, it's also a bonus.
If he dies, he dies. If he dies, he dies. Cool. Right, so we'll let them continue to move there. Let's have some more updates, shall we? So I've just been given 2 updates here. We have Mike versus Raph. That'll be a spicy matchup. We've got Mike Callahan on Big Wow. We've got Raph on his Seraphon. It's saying Raph is going full alpha into Mike. There's a very important moment right now, so whether that'll pay off.
Yeah,
or
Raph's
not.
been doing very, very good. One of the only few Seraphon players to not be running an Incarnate at the moment, so very good props to him. He's running Coalesced, I think it is. Yep. He's having a lot of fun with that. Actually, he was talking to me there. He's actually got an idea for his next list as well. He's just going to have fun, he thinks. He's going to run 20 Croxagore. 20 Croxagore is his new idea. But Raph's been doing very, very well. He's a very good player.
For sure.
He knows Seraphon almost as well, if not as well as Richard. And they're 2 of our most prominent Seraphon players here in Glasgow. They are very good at what they do. So I'm excited to see that. And Mike's been practicing a lot as well with Big Wow.
He's been practicing a lot.
2 people whose lists we spoke about on Tuesday.
Correct. It's so great to see these lists actually matching up in the rounds as well. It's so
Makes
cool.
it so much easier for us to not have to remember anything else.
Exactly. It's like, sorry, did we review? I don't know you were.
You're not famous enough. Sorry.
So there we go, and so that's one update there. So we'll see how Raph gets on with the full alpha there. It's been serving him well so far, so we'll see how it goes. And then we have one update as well. He's only went and done it, and what was that? An hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 13 minutes.
At 10 past 1 we started.
So Reese versus Scott. Reese has got his first win of the day, 28-14. Reese versus Scott. Reese got 5 battle tactics and his grand strat. Good to see him not dropping into battle tactics that game.
He's clearly remembered it now. I wonder if he's actually started to use his little gauge that he was given.
His little gauge. Yeah, the gauges. I will say the gauges that Matt has given out. We also did them in the show as well. Yeah, they look fantastic. Great way to keep track of your battle tactics. And then Scott, 14 points for Scott, 3 battle tactics. Scott, I think the 4 he was tabled. So
Yeah, it's a harder matchup for Scott because Durthu, once Durthu gets into something, it's gone.
It's just gone, isn't it? Yeah.
It's Durthu's such a ridiculously good.
He's awesome.
Just a ridiculously good unit.
Really
it amazes me that he's not unique or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's we thought that it just amazes me. Whoever was smoking a bit of the leaf when they were making the Silver Nether book, I think.
A halfling leaf.
They absolutely went, oh, that looks like a damage 6 weapon. Do you know what it needs? More attacks.
More attacks. But yeah, so I'd still love to see somebody taking 5 Durthus to an event. I think that would be fantastic. Oh, 1.5 hours left. Let's go back to the action then. We'll see what has happened to the board state. So nothing much happened over on this side here. We've had pretty much 0 movement for those Blood Reavers. It looks like we have moved a little, looks like a Slaughter Priest from where I'm sitting. On this little back
yes,
objective.
Yes, that's right. He wanted to move the Slaughter Priest up to keep them in range of the prayers. And now that he's already got Surround and Destroy, he can start moving up that little block of warriors off the back corner.
Exactly. And also a little wee techie trick for you guys as well. If you are a Khorne player, this is what Nathan told me about the other night there. He said that as long as you start your turn, as long as you're within 6 inches of your altar, you can hero phase move, garrison the altar, and then that doubles the range of your prayers as well.
Oh, that's really
smart. So you could just go boop, boop, and then
really
you double it. So really, really nice wee tech here. I think that's what Nathan's potentially set up there as well, just in case he needs a bit of extra range on any of those prayers. We have also seen some movement as well. The Blood Warriors have moved up, Be'lakor's moved up, the Claws of Karanak have moved up, the Blood Warriors moved up. He's kept the unit of 10 Blood Reavers at the back screening, and yeah, I think we're rolling for some charges here, mate. So looks like we've had a charge over here.
Yeah.
These guys just romping into those skinks, and then we've also had these Blood Warriors over here romping into these skinks as well. So I think he just wants to, in a one fell swoop, just take off both units of skinks. I don't think the Blood Reavers, need to worry too much. Nathan also needs to watch he doesn't hit the camera as well. But everything's fine. So 2 charges over there to go. I've also just noticed that we haven't updated the score or the turns as well. This is very, very bad.
Getting sloppy, aren't we?
Those audio issues really pulled a blinder on me. So I believe it was 4 victory points for Seraphon turn 1. We'll double check that as well.
I'll just go confirm that one.
Yeah, no worries, thanks man. And if we could also get a confirmation on the CP usage as well, and Blood Tithe as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kyle's away to check. So we've had 2 charges with the Blood Reavers, trying to take those skinks off, and then really Nathan will have full control over at that side of the table. I think then he's going to be charging that big old brick of Blood Warriors right into the face, right into Rich's face. We've charged Be'lakor in, which is exactly what Nathan wants, because I think for him it's a win-win regardless. He either keeps the Kronspine exactly there, or he and doesn't really care if the Kronspine kills him, because it just gets him one step closer to his grand strat. But he does need to make sure that he keeps bodies on that objective as well, that it outbodies the Kronspine. To get that back though, he's going to need to be careful, because Be'lakor's worth 5, Kronspine's worth 5. The Claws of Karanak right now are in a dodgy position where if that Kronspine was to pile in and around, he could get within range of those claws and wipe the claws and then still maintain. But I'm sure Nathan might use Be'lakor. He might pile in with him first to then block the ability of the Kronspine to do that, so we'll see. You can also see the Blood Warriors charging on in. Now, while Nathan's moving 30 models, let's get an update from Kyle.
Yes, so they're both on 2 command points each.
Both on 2 CP.
Nathan has 1 Blood Tithe.
1 Blood Tithe in hand.
Which is pretty good.
Okay.
And Richard and Nathan actually informed me that Richard actually managed to get 5 victory points in the last round, not 4 as we thought. So they're tied, virtually neck and neck,
awesome,
on both CP and victory points.
Perfect. So let's see here. So I'm guessing then in terms of... I'll update the Blood Tithe as well. So I'm guessing that the Kronspine moving on into that other middle objective for Rich was maybe enough to turn the tide there. Because I know that Rich had full control of this objective. He had full control of this objective here. Nathan had one Oops, sugar. Nathan had one here, because he had the Blood Reaver's Daisy Chain back onto that. And I'm sure Nathan also had Blood Warriors on this objective here. So I'm guessing the Kronspine was able to
I think
outbody.
he must have tagged this objective
Ah,
on the
so
bottom
he
here
did.
when he
Oh,
ate the
sorry.
shards of
You're
Valagar.
right. I can also see that that is now ticking up as well. So Rich told me at the start of the stream that we're going to use the white and red labels for Nathan to show when he is starting to siphon off the victory points from an objective, and Rich is going to use the gold little coins as well when he starts to siphon off. So that's quite good. It gives us a visual gauge, so I can see that now he's ticked up on those 3 objectives there, and there. Perfect. Okay, so we'll see if there's any more charges, and we'll see where Nathan activates first as well. Don't think he really needs to worry about either of these skinks. Don't think he needs to worry about the Saurus Guard doing anything into the Blood Warriors. Even if they kill any, Nathan can just rally them back. But it does look like he is piling in and he's attacking with the Blood Reavers first. I don't know if I like this. Now, Nathan's obviously a better player than me, so he may have already got have a contingency plan for this area up here.
Well, he has managed to move that Bloodthirst within range to get that neg one to hit.
To get neg one to hit.
It's
But
just
my
pretty nice, but
my
it's-
worry is, this is my worry, Kyle, right? My worry is that the Kronspine, which is here, piles around this way,
Gets out of range and kills
gets
the
out
claws.
of range, kills the Claws of Karnak, and then Nathan cannot take that objective back off because they're both with 5.
Both contested.
However, oh, that's okay, because Nathan was in control previously.
Yes.
So he'll remain in control,
remains in
but he
control.
will fully siphon
But
it
yes,
away.
he will
Okay,
grab it.
so it's actually not too bad then, and it means it just gets him a blood tithe. So he's almost kind of baiting Rich in here, saying, "Cool, kill the claws, give me a blood tithe, but you'll still be there because Belcourt's there."
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
fine as well, because if the objective's siphoned, he can still contest the objective.
Yes.
So he can still be 5 and 5 there
Yep.
with the Incarnate as well. So even though he can't have it anymore, he's just contesting it, which will force Rich to kill Bellicor, which will get him his Grand Strat.
Correct. Perfect. Right, so it's all kind of going Nathan's way right now in terms of this turn. He's done exactly what he wants to do because he'll remove the skinks on 2 wee seconds. I'm just going to have a chat with Nathan. That's fine. So Nathan was just letting us know that he has put a dice on the scenery piece in the middle to try and denote his blood tithe. It's still very difficult for us to see, so we'll check in with him now and again. But he does have 2 blood tithe now, as he just wiped that unit of skinks. So that is 2 blood tithe for Nathan. The more blood tithe you've got, obviously that's the better, because he's now got 2 in hand, which means he could just auto dispel. Auto stop an endless any spell
Any
at
spell.
all, board wide.
Probably Cosmic Crush.
Yep. Or he could also do a multitude of other things. He could Murderlust Hero Phase move 2 units. He could, if he gets more, he could start to do those comets. Because if he wipes the Saurus Warriors now, the Saurus Guards, sorry, those heroes have no way to pass off wounds. So if he comets into them, then that's just straight morals.
Yeah,
coming
obviously the Astrolith Bearer will be helping with the little 5-up ward that they've got, but they've lost their, as you mentioned, the ability to pass that often. They are surprisingly squishy once you do get into them. It's just getting to them.
Just getting to them. And it looks like Nathan set up a good way to get into them. It's going to be hard to summon screens back on there because he's so close, so much in their face with those 30 Blood Warriors there as well. Okay, so skinks are gone. I do wonder if he's probably put the Bloodthirster shooting into the Kronspine as well to start ticking it down. And it's quite interesting. I think Nathan's basically given Rich a choice. He said, do you want to swing into Bellicor, or do you want to pile in and swing into Claws of Karnak? I think he's got 5 Claws of Karnak on that middle objective. So it doesn't matter, even if he kills Bellicor or the Claws, it doesn't matter, because either way,
he's not going to get the objective.
He's not going to get the objective. Okay, I like that. Very nice play from Nathan, obviously. Very seasoned player, very good player. So he wouldn't be so sloppy as to even have a chance of losing that objective before he siphons all of the power from it. Looks like we've got Rich rolling some dice here. I would imagine this is probably going to be the Kronspine.
Yeah, so few attacks, it does look like that.
So he's level 3, so it's 4 big bites. Yeah, is that right? Because it's level plus the number of attacks.
Yes.
So I think you get 1 bite automatically, and then 1 for every level. Looks like he's hit with everything. And looks like he has wounded with
Wounded with
everything.
everything as
Well, yeah, possibly. And then Bellacor's rolled his ethereal. Did he make every save? Let's see what's happening here. Or this could actually be the Saurus Guard.
Oh, wait, potentially,
as
yes,
well.
with the jaws and everything else.
I don't know if this. Oh no, it was. Sorry, it was Cronspine into Be'lakor. Be'lakor has survived both the claws and the jaws. So that's good to see for Nathan. Because again, as I say, either way, doesn't really care. Be'lakor dies, cool. It will tick the Cronspine up, but obviously the best thing is here is Be'lakor doesn't die and just holds the pins the Cronspine there in place. So it looks like we're activating with the Blood Reavers next. Yeah, we'll see how many of these guys we can get into attack. I'm actually really impressed with the Blood Reavers, their output. They've got, I believe it's 4s and 3s, but it's rend 1 damage. So the fact they have some rend is nice. They never used to, because they've got the Meat Ripper axes. I think they get something like 3 attacks each, Kyle. So you can double check for me, but I think I've always been really impressed with their output.
So yeah, 2 attacks each.
Not bad.
4s and 4s on the Meat Ripper axes.
Yep.
Rend 1. Which is pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
As you mentioned, yeah, they didn't have the rend. But obviously, I don't know if they get +1 to wound if they're wholly within 16 of a totem. That's what it is. So that does get them to 3s.
Oh, right, okay. Also, the
Bloodthirster
Bloodthirster, throw within 16. Nice. Always have to have the numbers that they use always have to be divisible by 8. So because it's cards numbers, so it has to be 16. And yeah, so Doggy Doodoo, thanks for commenting. The lists are in the video description down below. So if you just scroll down, you'll see Rich's list and Nathan's list both as paste bin links. So if you go on there, you'll be able to find them. Okay, so looks like we've got some saves. Rich rolling some save. Looks like he's only going to be dropping 5 at the most. They've done pretty well there, but again, we've not got the sheer volume of attacks coming in. Looks like Nathan only got 5 guys in. Anyway, so 4s and 4s is pretty rough. Not sure if they're wholly within 16 on that Bloodthirster to get the +1 to wound.
Still a handful of
But
skinks.
it's still a handful of skinks. I don't think Nathan's has anything to worry about losing this objective from these skinks in return.
5 skinks, there they are.
5 skinks gone, nice. So that's both combats of the Blood Reavers involved done. We've wiped 10 skinks, got a Blood Tithe. We've wiped 5 skinks there. Looks like Cronspine's done as well. So we'll see if Be'lakor or even the claws. I don't know if the claws are actually within 3, so they probably won't get to swing. But I don't know if Be'lakor has swung yet. So we'll see. The Blood Warriors definitely haven't swung yet because those Saurus Guard are still there. And I don't know. I don't think the Saurus Guard have swung. Not seen any sort of removal of any Blood Warriors. So
it looks like Nathan has just started to roll the big block of warriors there.
So he likes to roll the big weapons first. So it's the 2-handed. I think they're called Gore Glaives or something like that. So we'll roll them first. We'll see. They are. I believe they are rend 2 damage each. So pretty nice. And then everything else I think is rend 1, but it only wins on 4s. The normal attacks to Blood Warriors. So they're not a hammer, but they are an anvil. Is kind of what their shtick is.
The unmovable object.
Yeah, pretty much. So we'll see how we get on here. I would imagine the Saurus Guard would go here. Only 2 wounds a pop. On a 4-up save base?
Yes, 4-up save base, so 5-up ward.
I would imagine they would go. Oh, but 5-up ward's nice.
Yes,
I like that.
From the
ward's
absolute
nice.
bearer. So that's how he kind of buffs that up quite a lot.
Very nice. Nathan's rolled quite a lot of 6s there. If you'd like to buy the Call to Arms dice, they are available for purchasing £1 a dice or 10% off if you're a Patreon. And they are rolling very well on stream just now. Maybe not as well as Liz dice.
I don't think anything's quite as broken as a Liz dice. They've seen those roll some insane amount of 6s.
But I'm very genuinely disappointed by the lack of 4 Liz's that I've heard at the weekend. I've only heard a couple from Lewis, 1 from Reese.
Oh, you just said one about 2 minutes ago.
Oh, fantastic. So we're up to, I think we're ticked up to 4 now.
4 for Liz's.
4 Liz's. 4 Liz.
Lewis and Reese are actually very big on that. It's obviously yesterday was the 1-year anniversary since the Queen passed away.
Indeed.
So they are out mourning her passing, they were saying. By getting smashed.
By getting absolutely smashed. And I'm sure they'll do again tonight as well.
Yes, so tonight the boys are actually out for Lewis's birthday, which is next week. I think it's on Tuesday.
Very good.
But as we're all adults with real jobs, we have to only get catatonic at the weekend.
Yes,
sadly.
of course. Yeah.
So they, I don't know how they were going to manage it. Reese had 1 hour's sleep on Lewis's sofa last night because it was so warm, and the cat kept climbing on top of him. So it's
could have something to do with the slight mental mistakes made game 1.
Yeah,
possibly?
I think this massive lack of sleep. I think is worse than being hungover. I think in terms of that's what really tends to get me on a 2-dayer is game 1, day 2. We always see how you always see quite a lot of good opponents slip slightly in game 1, day 2. Also game 3, day 1, because they're normally either too drunk or tired by the end of the day.
Ah, yes. Oh no, for sure. Yeah. God, like I know 3 games might not seem like a lot, but at the end, I'm absolutely shattered on day 1.
It's mentally taxing, isn't it? There's quite a lot.
Yeah.
I played Nathan. I think it was a tournament game 3. His Gargants versus my Slash. And I was so tired that I made the incredible decision to put my my Archer Cavalry in front of my melee cavalry. And
hold on. Even Gothmog had that, surely. Spears in front, archers behind. That's
yeah. It was, and do you know what I did? I threw them into a Mega Gargant.
Fantastic.
And they tied it up for 2 turns. But
that's pretty good.
But it did cause me to end up losing my general turn 1. And it did lose me the game by 2 points.
Ooh.
It's the closest I've ever come to beating Nathan.
That's
sadly.
very tight. Well, congrats on the closeness. It looks like we're wrapping things up, mate. So I think I can see one single lone little Saurus guard left alive in that unit. One wound, nice. So Nathan hasn't claimed that, so he'll be very upset that he can't get to shout Blood Tithe. But I think he does for the Skinks, because it looks like Rich has decided to use Inspiring Presence on the Saurus guard.
Blood Tithe, there we are.
So that's fine. So so we've had the Incarnate has leveled down, so Be'lakor looks like he's done enough to the Incarnate. I think shooting from the Bloodthirster also helped as well. So that's now a level 2 Incarnate. And so I think Nathan will be really looking to try and stop any endless spells going its way, potentially.
Yeah, he's got the ability to automatically stop one if he wants. We can see where the Primal Dice might get them, if he can stop the other one.
I also just don't know if Nathan cares about the Incarnate at all.
It doesn't seem that way.
No.
I feel like an Incarnate on a table, like Mega Guardians, they are visually intimidating because people know what they can do, and Incarnates are very scary. But we remember how nasty it was in the last GHB, and indeed when it first came out, it was very, very nasty, very, very scared. I feel like if you know how to navigate your way around it, you can either ignore it or just completely shut it down. And I think those are the 2 appropriate ways to deal with it if you're not a ranged army.
Yes.
If you have the range, you can knock it down. With this GHB, it's a little bit harder. I used to shoot it myself, knock it down, and then the next turn you'd be in combat and you'd be able to get rid of it. Now that with them pumping it up automatically, making it wild, it's a little bit harder. Yeah,
it's not as cut and clean as it used to be.
No,
you
definitely
taking a Cronspec out over the course of a double was always kind of something that was on, but not anymore. But yeah, so just kind of scoring up that turn there. I believe Nathan's on 5 victory points. He did manage to hold 1-2 more.
Yes.
He got his battle tactic of lead in because Be'lakor, one of the heroes that charged, is still within combat. So
and
he's
he's
fine.
siphoned
and also the
both middle objectives now.
Yes, both middle objectives are now gone. This is pretty good for Nathan here. I think this is just... It looks as if he's in the driving seat right now.
Richard's starting to get pinned in. Even with... So he does have some teleports and things that he can do on himself. He's got 2 teleports. The hero phase heroic action, and also a teleport from Croak. So he can potentially get himself out of this nasty bind, but it's just how often can he keep doing that until he gets tied up? Correct. So we're not forgetting as well that obviously, sadly, he didn't get rid of that one Saurus guard. Sorry, if Nathan got rid of that one Saurus guard, he could have Murderlust in and tied up a couple of those guys. But with that one pesky guard in the way, it doesn't look like it's going to be something that's going on, unfortunately. Yeah, no, for sure. Denies him a blood tithe as well. Oh, there you go. Which is good. You can see there that Richard's actually hero phase teleported up the Starseer. And it looks like we're probably going to be going for a juicy blizzard to automatically kill that slaughter priest, I think. From potentially that seems to be what it looks like. Fantastic. So let's get eyes on. So we've got the Star Priest who has now moved. Yep, he's up here. So his hero phase moved up there.
And because Nathan, not only has he done well to take the objectives kind of on his front end, he's also done well to screen out the objective on his back end as well. So he's got what looks to be like a small foot hero, probably Slaughter Priest, on this objective here. He's also screening out his this other back objective here as well. He has started to tick up on this objective, however, so he'll only be able to score that for another turn after this. He's completely siphoned off, as we said, the 2 middle objectives, but he is here and he's on Rich's home 2 objectives as well. Rich now is looking at 30 Blood Warriors on one of his home objectives. He's now thinking of how the heck do I get rid of them. Cosmic Crush is a good way to try and do that. So I think that I don't think Nathan's going to be spending any Blood Tithe to stop an endless spell. I think he's if it was me, I would be looking to stop Cosmic Crush, because that could rinse through that block if he doesn't roll the 5 up. And this is the thing, so I've chatted to Nathan about this a few times, and I think a lot of Magic users get into the headspace of, I'm not even going to bother using direct Magic against Khorne, because you'll just roll a 5 up and you'll get a Blood Tithe.
It's a 5 up.
But it's a 1 in 3 chance.
Yeah.
And so Nathan, what he's genuinely terrified of is people that just don't care and just keep flinging magic at him. Because
ultimately,
eventually
the weight of the dice will get through it, even against Null Myriad.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a 2 up, but I've seen some Null Myriad players that are just that don't even care about necessarily keeping them near the heroes for the range of the 2 up, just because less well versed opponents will just think that it's just a flat 2 up.
Yeah.
And so that it's not necessarily a gotcha, but it's the mental intimidation factor of, oh, it's a 2 up, why bother?
Yeah.
So you can still roll a 1.
No, for sure. We've all heard the stories of, I rolled a 1 on Arcan and he died to Blizzards, or I rolled a 1 on this and it just died. So yeah, it happens, and look, sometimes you need to take a punt, and if you're not going to lose anything because of it, then why not? There's another 6 being rolled there.
It's either you don't cast a spell at all, or it's not like, also yes, he gets Blood Tithe for ignoring it on that 5 up, which is big, but in the day, you could potentially just delete the unit, which is better for yourself than giving him 1 Blood Tithe.
For sure. So I think Rich here looks to be that he's rolling up the pyramid,
the Realm Shaper engine.
Correct, to try and I think do splat some mortal wounds about the place. Looks like he's picked that objective. Sorry, he's picked the scenery piece that's right next to the Bloodthirster of Kronspine Bellicor to try and blap out some mortal wounds. He's obviously hitting he's hit his own Kronspine there. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Could do a decent wee smattering of mortals, which is better than nothing. In terms of what Rich really needs to do this turn,
he wants to bump that Incarnate back up a level.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, it's potentially, with having taken some mortal runes there from his own engine, if Bellicor actually does some more damage, he could use another level.
Yeah.
So it could be dangerous.
For sure.
So I'm thinking we're probably gonna end up seeing him probably cast Maelstrom, and try and just eat it. It could be the fact that you might see him cast both spells now in this hero phase. If he puts Maelstrom in, he could potentially do a big boom to those warriors as well. Do some mortal runes.
Oh yeah, true. He's got the AoE mortals as well. Again, they'll still get to roll their 5 ups against it, but again, as we've said, throw enough shit at the wall. Hopefully something will stick. Not looking. I just don't think it's looking great for Rich right now. But we'll see if he can get out of this bind here. As I say, it looks like Nathan has full board control right now. I'm just going to check him in the last to see what battle tactic Rich has gone for as well, and then we'll come right back. Yes, so Rich is going for Surround and Destroy here, so hence why he also decided to teleport that Priest
gets in the back one, and then if he just moves those skinks from that top left just a little bit further down, he's already got that as well.
Good.
And then he's got it. So nice and easily achievable.
Easy peasy.
2 points.
A nice auto. I think the issue is going to be where we get the primary from.
Yes, so he is quite pinned in at the moment. He doesn't hold. He holds no objectives as it stands, so it is potentially going to need to start summoning something in. Probably trying to steal those back objectives, perhaps, because he can still move some other bits and pieces.
For sure.
It's going to be quite difficult, I think, for him to try and start catching up in primary. This is where he might start to slip behind.
And especially on this mission where, I mean, you would think this is an okay mission. 6 objectives. Like I've spoken to Rich before previously. He doesn't like the missions where there's only maybe 3 objectives where somebody can just plant their flag on them and it's difficult for him to take them off. He likes more spread out missions here, but Nathan has just
There's
done
you go.
that.
Bellicor has
Bellicor is
died,
gone.
and that's Nathan up a blood tithe point up to 4,
Fantastic,
which
okay.
is exactly what he wants because he still holds that objective.
Correct.
On the
with
middle as
with
well.
the claws. Well, the thing is, he's already siphoned that as well, so it kind of makes no bones to him. But now the Kronspine's got a decision of, do I go and kill the Claws of Karnak to take that objective back off, or do I come in and try and do damage into the Blood Warriors? I think, based on trying to get primary, I think that Rich needs to go and get that objective.
Yeah, take it from the claws. Don't worry about necessarily killing everything. Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
going to just give him more blood tithe, and he'll just start summoning it back in himself.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
sure.
the last thing you want is suddenly 10 blood letters on your doorstep.
Yeah.
That are coming in doing their mortal wounds on 6s and everything like that as well.
No, for sure. So yeah, very, very tense here. I'm just going to go and have a wee chat and see what the blood tithe is looking at, just to shake. I think it's 4, but I think I just want to double check. And we'll also take a look at CPs as well, because that's something that I know that well, Rich will probably have a lot of. We'll see how many Nathan's
I'll
got.
see how many he's evolved.
Oh. Perfect, right, so just got a wee update there. So CP wise, Nathan's on 2 and Rich is on 4. It is indeed 4 blood tithe as well, and a very nice little tactical update here as well. Bellicor died to Croak's spell Celestial Deliverance, and he only picked Bellicor as it to not give Nathan any blood tithe.
Oh.
Because it says pick up to 3. So as long as you just pick 1,
Oh, okay,
then
very
you
interesting.
can just blam Bellicor. Bellicor doesn't have the Blades of Corn 5-up ignore spell, get blood tithe. So the nice play there from Rich. Obviously Celestial Deliverance has got 18-inch range, so he would have just fired that out, well, with the +6 from the Astrolith. Fired it out, killed Bellicor, so the Kronspine's now free to do as he wishes. He's still level 2. He could chuck it in the spell to make it level 3, back up to level 3 again, and he could actually use it to do something rather than being tied down by Bellicor. And again, yeah, really nice play there from Rich, not to target any other Corn units, because yeah, that would not have been very good. So I'm just checking here as to what's happening.
Oh, he's actually got 3 warriors.
So what has happened here? It's not Rich can't
Garth.
rally into combat, right?
No. I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay. So maybe he's got. Well, sorry. My apologies, guys. I thought there was only 1.
Maybe
It
the
looks
top
like-
down isn't as zoomed
No.
in, so it's.
But it
maybe
looks like he does have slightly more asset there. Again, the Blood Warriors, they're not a hammer, they're an anvil, so it could well be that they didn't manage to kill that much. And then we've still got a slight screen there for the Blood Warriors can go into the little heroes. But how is Rich going to deal with this Blood Warrior unit? That's the question for me. It's just such an oppressive thing to have in your face.
Yeah, I think as we discussed, I think he's going to try with the Cosmic Crush.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yep.
But obviously, at that stage 4 blood tithe, Nathan's probably just going to say no.
Yeah, he'll just spend 2 blood tithe, say can't cast that, and then probably take his chances with the 5-up. So
yeah,
here
and they've
comes
also only got 1 primal dice each as well,
Yeah.
so he can kind of throw that in with an unbind.
nice. Okay.
And just try and just naturally unbind the
For
end
sure,
spell.
yeah. Nathan's got unbinds. He can obviously take a heroic action for an unbind
There
as
you go.
well.
You see the
so
shards coming back in.
Yeah, shards coming in. Looks like they're going to get nommed by the Kronspine, and yeah, we're going to get this Kronspine up to level 3. Lovely stuff. Okay, obviously Rich just positioning these shards. Can't see any other way that we're going to be using these shards. I mean, other than just being eaten by
Yeah,
Kronspine.
Just to take them large base size as well to block off enemy movement is typically what I've seen. It's like taking out the Suffocating Gravetide, even though it's not
Yeah.
necessarily good against your opponent, it can just completely
sure.
block them.
Now, interesting enough, and Rich, does Rich have the Gravetide in this
Not
list?
in this list, no.
Oh, because I was thinking that could also be a double whammy. If Cosmic Crush gets stopped, he could also try Gravetide, and 5-up Mortals is still pretty good. So yeah, let's see what's happening here. I've not heard any cries of blood tithe. I don't think we've had any direct spells ignoring a 5-up. So looks like the slant is casting
with the primal dice.
with the primal. Really nice move there as well, because am I right in saying that with the heroic action of putting the skink up into the sky, so basically teleporting it into the other side of the field up here, could he summon a unit and put it outside of 7 of that of this
Of that back objective.
of this of this guy here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Could that happen?
I think,
and then charge and get onto that back objective?
Yeah, if he just sticks it in 7 inches away from him, hopefully rolls a 7.
Yep.
He could then take that objective off, which would be big for himself if
Yep.
he chooses to do so. He's still got the other skink unit in the back that he can move up as well, but I don't think he's going to want to do that, because if he does that, he'll fail his battle tactic.
Yes.
So he will probably keep them where they are, or move them slightly further down back towards his home front, I think. So it is. He's in a bit of a bind, but he has a couple of options.
Yeah. So surround and destroy we've got, because we have skinks right up here in this top left corner. Who could then play this edge. We've got this hero here, who could then obviously do this edge. And as long as he keeps a hero back down here, which I mean, I think they're all definitely wholly within 6 of his board edge, he basically just gets it. But it's interesting to see. I wonder if we actually see not 10 skinks, but 5 Raptidon chargers come out of that little star seer that's up the top.
That could be interesting. They're a lot faster as well. So it means he can start to.
I'm just thinking about his potential to take something off an objective and take it back. And I think that bringing the Raptidon chargers in, and because you can use the the stave, the special artifact that allows you to bring a unit outside 7 instead of outside 9.
Yes.
Means that you could then put the Raptidons outside 7, roll that, and they get +1 to charge natively as well.
That's good.
With a reroll, that's really good. And then they slap as well. So I would highly imagine that they would take out that small slaughter priest as well.
Yeah, he's a little bit exposed at the back there by himself.
Which then means that, so let's say that is what's going to happen. So that means that that's going to be riches. This objective is going to be riches as well, possibly even. I was wondering if he was be able to take this objective with the Cron Spine. I don't know if that's going to be possible, because the Cron Spine can only basically put his contestation towards one objective, and right now I don't see the Rich being able to get anything other than the Cron Spine onto either that objective, this objective, or onto this objective here. So I don't think he can do both. So I think he's going to walk away with 1, 2, but not more. So I think he's going to walk away for 4 points. Yeah, that's. I mean, I was wrong round 1. I've been wrong before, but I think 4 points is what Rich could be staring at here. But then it's still only a point down. Only a point down, and he's got double potential as well.
Absolutely. He could also hold the Grand Strat. Nathan might not get it. If Nathan can't kill all those casters, he's still got lots, because now it's a bit more of a bind from Nathan now that one Starseer is hopped across the board all the way to the other side, because Nathan doesn't have any shooting outside that Bloodthirster.
Correct.
So he could be in a particular bind to try and catch it.
So we just had a time shout there from Matt as well. Was that 1 hour?
1 hour to go.
1 hour remaining. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Even though we started 10 minutes late.
That's right. So it's 1 hour. We're getting 2:45. Correct.
That's it. Yes,
2:45.
Fan of the longer games here.
Yes, 2:45. I mean, I think 2:45 might even be long enough these days.
See,
maybe even 3
hour
games.
This actually the other day in one of the group chats with me. I'm actually a big fan of. Well, myself and Reese, the faster game guys, and we've been more of a plan. I suppose Reese wouldn't even play a battle round if he could have the chance. But I'm a big fan of 2 hours 30.
Yep.
To allow for longer time between games.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of half-an-hour breaks.
Yep.
Because especially as we've all discussed before, going into game 3, you are mentally taxed.
No,
so
for sure.
A half-an-hour break each time. Gives
what would your thoughts be on having even longer breaks between games, keeping them the same length, but maybe not even leaving until say 9 o'clock at night?
Ooh,
what's your
interesting.
thoughts on that?
Later on in the day, it's big. it's a big task to do that. Obviously, if you're playing 12 hours, that's huge. So it's difficult. I would personally be fine with doing it, but obviously a lot of people have families and things that can kind of get in the way. Marital commitments, children and things like that.
Children, yuck. No, but absolutely, I know that people have got commitments. I do know from my time at Worlds, I really loved being able to have. Sorry, Reese is just trolling me right now, sending us DMs.
You just lost a train of thought there.
Sorry, my train of thought was just taken off the tracks by Adam Turner screaming. I'm not even going to repeat it. It probably got picked up by the mics anyway. But anyway, I know from my time at Worlds, I really liked the fact we had very long rounds. Now, obviously, a lot of that's to do with pairings and time given to pairings. But also really big breaks in between. I like being able to, you could actually go away and you could chill, grab a bite to eat. You could even go back to your room if you wanted and have a wee power nap if you wanted as well. So I like the big, but I do get that, that is a long day to do that all Saturday, and then also you come back and you've got 2 more games on the Sunday as well.
Yeah. I think it's better for big GTs perhaps, yeah? Bigger GTs like Broken Realms twice a year, things like that perhaps. Definitely not on a one-day.
Well, you've got absolutely mad lads playing 8 games over the likes of Nova and stuff like that. They just if you go 5-0 and they have multiple people at 5-0, they just go, right, keep playing
until you lose.
And I think that's been kind of taken over from the 40k, because I know that
that's how we
big old GTs over there. They don't want multiple people on 5-0s. They go, nope, you keep going until there's one decided winner, and I quite like that.
I do enjoy
but I also think that could be horrendous.
It was like in when we played Heresy and things like that as well. When it comes to it doesn't like people having ties and things as well. Where it's at end of battle round 5, you can roll a dice and it just carries on. On a 3 up, on a 4 up, on a 5 up, and then up to 6. So you can have 9 rounds in a game. Which kind of just forces you at that stage. If you're still tying after 9 rounds, just go home.
Just go home. So what I'm going to do just now is I'm going to check in, because I have just seen that this block of Blood Warriors is slightly deeper into Rich's lines than they were before. So I think a wee cheeky murder lust has happened over there. Which, in which case, if that has happened, it means that Nathan did not spend 2 points to try and stop a spell. So let me just check in. Let me check in with the lads and see what the
looks like. It looks like he's actually removed the blood type dice. So he might have auto dispelled 1 spell and then.
But you can only do. Oh, I thought you could only do. I thought you could only use the blood type table once per hero face. Well, so we'll double check. Let's have a find out. Right, ladies and gents, we've just been given a nice schooling on Khorne there from Nathan. For 4 Blood Tithe, you can pile in and fight with a unit, and that's exactly what he's done with those Blood Warriors. So, gosh, even though he still had some Saurus Guard left to kind of almost try and pin them and then stop the murder lust, doesn't matter, because he's just piled in and fought anyway. So he piled in, he fought, he killed the Saurus Guard. He's also started, he's basically tagged the wizards as well, so they're going to have to retreat, otherwise they're going to get fought again. They're going to get fought by the Blood Warriors. Amazing, love the Khorne shenanigans. So let's just put Nathan's down to 0 Blood Tithe here. Fantastic. And then, let's just check in the lay of the land as well. So nothing much else has changed. We've not seen any summoning yet. We've not seen the Kronspine yet. So, I think we're just moving on to the movement phase. That was the end of the hero phase that Nathan's done the pile in and fight with for the 4 Blood Tithe. And, we're going to move on and we're going to see how Rich is going to respond to this, because this is getting out of hand now, Kyle. This 30 block of Blood Warriors just in his face.
Unstoppable.
So looking at this in terms of the Blood Tithe, the Blood Tithe table, we'll maybe have a wee quick run through, because it's nice. I usually only ever see Murder Lust, Spell Eater Curse, the Brascal Meteor, but it's important to know what the bigger ones are as well. So Murderlust obviously is you pick a unit, they have to be outside of combat and they move d6. You can spend it up to 3 times, so you can spend up to 3 Blood Tithe to then do it. A Spell-Eater Curse is you just stop a spell for 2 Blood Tithe. Brascal Meteor is you pick an enemy unit and you roll 8 dice for every 5 ups of mortal wound, and you add 2 if the unit has a 10 or more wounds characteristic, so that could be pretty nice on Croak as well. So that's for 3. Then that's the one that Nathan's just used, Apoplectic Frenzy. Pick a unit within 3 inches of enemy unit, they just fight.
You couldn't use the Brascal Meteor on Croak though, because it doesn't actually have a wounds characteristic.
Oh, interesting. So the bonus wouldn't tick up, but you could still do it for 5.
Yeah, just 5.
Got you. Perfect. Okay, that's good to know. In terms of the frenzy, that's what he did, and because it says fight, the fight now means you pile in and then fight. Piling is part of the fight the fight kind of stage, so we need to make sure we're doing that. So that's what he did. He piled in and he fought. We've got 5 Rising Hatred. He adds 1 to the hatred, so he gets 4 up spell ignores until the end of the battle. That's
big.
That's huge
against armies like this, which he might end up going for.
Could just tick up Blood Tithe and then go, cool, we've got 4 up spell ignore now as well.
He's so in his face now, though. I don't actually know.
I don't know if he really cares, to be honest. Heads must roll. You improve the rend by 1 until the end of the turn. That's 6. Blood Tithe, let the blood flow. You roll dice for each enemy unit in the battlefield within 3 of any Blades of Corn units and a 2 of that unit. So if you do 3 more wins, it's for 7 Blood Tithe, that's alright. And then Slaughter Triumph and add 1 to the tax characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Blade of Corn units until the end of the battle. Oh, so if you do tick all the way, if you're just swimming in Blood Tithe, you could just go, right, well, all my units have got +1 attack for the rest of the game now. So
very good.
Very cute, very nice. But yeah, smash him. So we've got Sinky in the chat saying, hope Nathan loses. Thanks for that, Sinky. I'm sure Rich hopes that as well. And I'll be interested to see how Sinky got on his game too. He narrowly defeated Reese, the reigning champion, in his first game. And we will see how we'll pick up with Sinky and we'll see how we got on. I wonder if we've got any results in yet, Kyle. I'm just going to go into my best coast pairings, see if we've got any results as of yet. I've not seen Matt in a wee while.
He is running around.
But he is running a bit like a heedless chicken, so I'm guessing with the fact that we have so many players here, 60 players.
Sinky lost his game.
Sinky lost his game.
He lost his game, so he's talking a big game.
Talking a very big game, Sinky.
He lost. We've only got 2 games submitted so far, which is Reese versus Scott, which we already discussed, and then David Miller versus Sinky.
Oh, I do apologise. Matt did bring me that. And
he did bring it
sitting on
you.
my desk for some time now. So yeah, let's go over that then. So we've got David. I think is it Miller Bishop or Bishop Miller?
Bishop Miller.
Bishop Miller, perfect. Yeah. And I have been bringing this guy up because he has a Big Wah stan. He was a Big Wah bro at Tempest, the way we both took Big Wah, and so we were just kind of consolidating each other when we lost, or congratulating each other when we won. So it was really nice. And he has handedly defeated Sinky 27-18. Big Wah continue to romp through full 5 battle tactics and Grand Strat. Done. He got 4 points turn 1 and then 5s from then on, so 27, almost a perfect game. And then Callum, so Sinky, he managed 2 turns of scoring. He got 5, and then he's managed to tick up to 3 turns of scoring, 3 turns of scoring 5 before I think he was finally tabled, and that would then get him his Grand Strat, so 27-18.
Nice.
So
and easy to do.
Congrats to David and commiserations to Sinky. And
we've
has
actually got our
we've got another one.
Third
okay,
one,
let's
which
go
is
for it.
Curtis versus Wee Lewis.
Yes.
So hope Curtis feels happy for stomping a child. But actually quite a closer game. 22 to Curtis and 17 to Wee Lewis.
5 points, isn't it?
So 5 points, quite close.
Nice.
They did play through to the end, but it looks like Wee Lewis just couldn't get the points in his first 2 rounds. Only scored 3 points in his first round with only controlled 1 objective, and then could only control 1 objective. So it looks like he did fall behind on the primary. Curtis just obviously playing Feck there has complete board domination in this kind of battle
just
plan.
the bodies, it's so oppressive. And
so it looks like he got 3-4 battle tactics and the Grand Strat for Curtis, whereas Wee Lewis didn't get his Grand Strat, but he got 4 battle tactics himself. So major loss, but still. He's doing good. Wee Lewis, he constantly shows up to all the tournaments, and he takes it all on the chin, which is really good. He's actually a really good player. He's actually coming up.
For sure.
Be very dangerous when
he's
older.
like 10?
11.
So he's 11 now, and he's constantly getting better. every tournament that we're seeing him at. And the fact that he's running seasoned tournament goers, grown adults, and he's running them to 5-point
He beats
scores.
some of them as well.
Yeah, exactly, and beats some of them. Sometimes he beats them more than once in a round. Shout out to Grant Fraser, who lost so quickly that they then re-racked and then
He lost
lose,
again.
beat him again. So
Yeah, we did see at Tempest that he called him his nemesis on Twitter.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's right.
Or should we call it X? No. But yeah, imagine having a nemesis as an 11-year-old boy.
Absolutely. Well, I hope that continues. I hope it's a long and fruitful rivalry throughout the years, that one. So we'll kick back to the action here. I'm seeing lots of dice rolling here, and we'll see what's happening with Rich and his Seraphon. So, I was right. He did summon 5 Raptidons, and he did charge them in, and he did kill the Slaughter Priest. So, very good. So, up here, so nice there from Rich. That's a good play. It's exactly what I would have done. He got the 5 Raptidons on outside 7, I reckon, rolled the 6 with the charge, got them in, and then managed to wipe that little hero. So that objective is now his. So he's flipped it onto him. The Kronspine should be able to make short work, unless the Kronspine has just sat and done nothing perchance, because it looks as if he's within 3 of those Blood Warriors.
Yes, I think that he found out that he was actually tagged.
Well, because the Blood Warriors piled in.
Yes. So because they piled in, he was able to tag that
my
Kronspire.
goodness.
And I'm going to say that Nathan probably doesn't actually care about the coherency here. It looks like he's just moving them away just to keep it stuck the Kronspire where it is, and he doesn't mind if they're maybe dragged out of coherency,
For sure.
because they can only pile into that Kronspire itself. So losing 3 or 4 of the warriors is no
And the
biggie.
thing is here, right, so you know how we were talking about Rich potentially lining up for a 4-point turn?
Yes.
This could just be a 3-point turn, because he's got Battle Tactic, he's got 1 objective. But if there is indeed 5 Claws of Karanak on that objective, and then the Kronspine has to pile, can't do anything to take those claws off, it means that objective continues to be contested by Nathan, even though he doesn't control it. He can still contest it, and therefore Rich isn't going to get that objective.
No.
So he's just going to
this,
get 1
this
objective.
is where he starts to fall behind on
Yep.
primary. We just see there in the chat, actually, Sinky's just commenting there saying he's got pumped. So
I got bumped in Orcs Smash, right? Well, commiserations, Sinky, and well done to David for that mission. So Sinky continues on the path. So he's keeping that 1-4 dream alive right now by losing there game 2. So well done to him.
Continuation of his last broken realm scoring, but he ended up on a 3-2, I think, the last one.
3-2.
So.
Oh, I mean, he wishes he could get 3-2 this weekend, I tell you. No, he did very well against Reese. A really good game to commentate on as well.
Reese, I think Reese can actually count on his hand the amount of games that he's lost past year.
Yeah.
So it's big to have actually either beat him or force him to a draw. So he's
very good, very good player. So we just had the Blood Warriors piling on in. So they've piled towards the heroes, and they've also piled towards the Kronspine. I'm starting to see less and less models in Rich's castle now. Do we think that this is the kind of the beginning of the end for Rich?
I think so.
Think he can bring it out of the bag?
So obviously Richard has his turn here. If Nathan doubles him, then if he wins the prio, then I think it's game over.
Yes.
I think it's game over because we've got those Reavers in the corner that are coming up to catch up to the Slan. The bottom there. Croak's been tagged by the Warriors. I suppose if Richard wins the turn, he can teleport Croak away, which is good. But he's going to start. If Nathan can do enough damage to Croak and he rolls over and he dies, then it's already game, I think. From that stage.
I should have also updated the Blood Tithe. Nathan's now on 1 thanks to his Slaughter Priest dying to those Raptidons. So we're piling in the Kronspine now. It's a level 3 Kronspine. It did manage to eat the shards, I believe.
Yes.
As we can see, the shards are now gone. Glad that Rich didn't fail that roll, because that would have just been horrendous. So he's now piled on in. I don't really know how much damage Nathan would have done to the Kronspine. Probably not much. Looks like he maybe only got 1 or 2 guys into actual range of combat there, with the rest kind of piling in. He's now daisy chaining as much as he can. But the real meat of that Blood Warriors unit is right in the face of Croak. Rich has also moved the Slan kind of almost far left now, so he's kind of broken up his castle. So I think the Slan's here. Yep, looks like the Astrolith Bearer is right next to Croak. There, and then Croak's kind of there, as we can just about see Croak.
Just tagging
there.
it so Croak still has that ward save.
Yep.
Try and keep him alive a little bit longer.
Looks like we've got Slan Starseer still alive. Looks like we've got Starseer on opposite edge, getting him to surround and destroy. Those skinks also on the edge down here, also getting him to surround and destroy. So he's still got assets left. Obviously, still got the 5 Raptidon chargers there as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's looking like a very uphill struggle right now with that many Blood Warriors in your face. And if Nathan or if anyone loses another model, another Blood Tithe, that then almost ensures a kind of a double protection from the respect of if Rich does win the double and takes it, then if Nathan's able to get another Blood Tithe here, then we could auto stop an endless spell.
Yes,
auto stop any spell. Sorry.
Any spell.
Yeah.
Or you could potentially even murderlust those Reavers into combat.
Yeah.
Try and get them closer
for
into
sure.
the Slan.
For sure.
He's got Blood Tithe, so what's the right word I'm trying to think of here? It's not universal, but you know the type of thing I'm trying to say. It's flexible. It's got options.
Oh, sure. It's a
so
massive
flexible.
toolkit. It's huge toolkit.
So many different, diverse things that you can do with it, which is nice. It's not just flat. You get this, you do this, you do this.
And it's always something that you never really need to worry if you get Blood Tithe, because stuff just dies. Stuff dies in the game, and you have to kill stuff to win the game. So you know you're going to get a number of Blood Tithe, and you just need to know the best way to get the most efficient kind of juice out of it. Nathan has spent 4 for a pile-in and fight. He spent 1 for a Murderlust. Don't think he spent anything else. He's not done a Comet, and I believe he only really Murderlusted 1 thing. So I think he's gained 5, spent 5. Sorry, he's gained 6, spent 5. So yeah.
You see that the Incarnate has now fought. A chunk of those warriors.
Actually did not bad there. I'm
lifted.
very impressed with Incarnate. Obviously the Ren really hurts.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he did get Bronze Flesh off there as well.
I was going to say, 'cause he only seems to have lost, was it like 7 maybe? 7 or 8 of them? 36. 19, yeah, he's still got a couple there. So
now the thing as well that's an issue here is because the Kronspine's bubble is I think it's wholly within 10. Is it that you cannot retreat?
Can't retreat, yes.
It does go up when he levels up as well. So I'm just wondering if those Blood Warriors could retreat from the Kronspine, if they have managed to daisy chain out far enough to actually do a retreat. If Nathan gets the turn.
What's the wording on it? Do we know if it's wholly within or?
I think it is wholly within, because I used to daisy chain out my units Night Haunt so that I could just retreat and charge it again as well. So it is wholly within, I believe. So units wholly within cannot retreat. But yeah, I mean, looking at that, what's that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Looks like he's lost 10 Blood Warriors from the Kronspine. Possibly Kronspine and something else. Some other damage, splash damage
Croak
from somewhere else.
Back.
Yeah, Croak might slap, does mortals. Obviously we had the Realm Shaper pop off as well. So looks like we've lost 10 Blood Warriors. Now the thing is with the Kronspine is if he can't retreat from that Kronspine, it's stopping the Blood Warriors, like their biggest thing, which is the 4-up rally back. Because Nathan can just get 5 back every hero phase. So really it'd be interesting to see if they can actually retreat. Okay. So it looks like we're scoring up the turn. So I'll ask for a wee score update from the lads, but it looks to my eyes like 3 managed to get 4. Fantastic. Okay. So we have 4 points. So we got our surround and destroy, and we've managed to take 2 objectives as well, which is big. So I'll double check with Rich. The only one I can think of must be where the Kronspine is. That he's somehow taken it off the claws of Karanak. There must not be 5 claws on that objective.
Well, I'll go check.
So if you're okay with that, Kyle, Kyle's going to run and check for us. But 4 points is big. 4 points is big. It's not as big as 5, obviously, but it means that he's not completely fallen behind. He's only 1 point behind. So we got surround and destroy, so we're going to give that a nice big Y for yes. So looks like at the end of turn 2, we're rolling for priority. Get it in the box, Richard. Come on. Oh, okay. So looks like Nathan has it. Looks like Nathan won priority? Yep. So looks like Nathan has one priority, so it's his choice. And I think if I were Nathan, I would just take it. Try and just put this game away at this stage now.
There are only 4 claws of counterattack on that objective, so the Conspire now does hold it.
Dang. So really, before when I was praising Nathan, I was saying, oh, you know, I think if he put 5 claws on and the Bellicor, so actually he's an idiot, and he's not bloody contesting.
Why does he even go to Worlds?
Exactly. What's the point? So, but yeah, okay. So never mind. It's only a point difference. So we'll see how this plays out. So it looks like Nathan is taking it, and it looks like he has managed to get out of range of the Kronspine. Looks like he's pulled away outside of 3 inches of casualties, so he could rally those Blood Warriors back, which is pretty huge. So I think he lost 10, so he's only lost 5 because he'll just get 5 back, which is pretty nuts. We should get 5 back, obviously depending on rolls. So we'll score this up. So we're on to turn 3 now. 2 CP for Nathan. I don't think anything else died in that turn, so I can only see that I believe he's only got 1 Blood Tithe. And then Seraphon will be on 3 CP with 9 victory points. Okay.
Rolling a lot of dice.
Rolling a lot of dice. Is this a comet? Oh, no, this is the rally. This must be a rally. Yeah. This must be the rally. So it looks as if he may have spent a CP on this, or he might have done a heroic action to gain a CP. And then, but yeah, I can see him picking up models. Here he comes. Perfect. So he'll get them added on. I'll just check and see what CP he used. Oh, see, Nathan's doing things out of sequence now. Was that an out of sequence heroic action scene? Out. Any opportunity to roast Nathan, I will take it. So, yes, looks like he did do the heroic action CP out of sequence.
Out of sequence.
But Rich is letting him do it. And then, so he spent that CP on a rally on the Warrior. So he got 5 back, as you would expect. 4-up rallies, just
ridiculously good.
It's ridiculous.
And some of the armies that have access to it really shouldn't.
Yes.
Caradron. Why?
Do you know what the funniest thing was? As soon as everyone who were setting up the stream last night and somebody went, oh, I thought your list preview was great. Kyle just hates every faction, doesn't he? He came on and was like, I hate KO, and I was like, oh.
Actually, I do like some factions, the ones I play. So they're nice.
He likes Slanesh, yeah. But
like
just as long as 4-up rally, it shouldn't be given to dwarves. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, dwarves. Both dwarven armies that have it are just ridiculous.
Very racist.
It's very racist. Just hate midgets.
Very racist.
That's all it is.
Fantastic. So
battle tactic confirmation.
Battle tactics. So the BT for turn 3 for Nathan is Slayer of Sorcery. So he's going to go and try and kill that Star Seer that is just directly in front of his Slan. So this little boy right there.
I think that's very achievable.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got Blood Reavers. He's also got a big old Bloodthirster.
Yeah, the Bloodthirster's not done much in this game so far. Going into the 3rd round here.
Yeah. He doesn't like. Been playing Nathan a few times this. He doesn't like to commit the Bloodthirster because it is really it's like an engine that gets his army going. But then he will just use it to go and snipe heroes, do stuff, do things. Yeah,
there are a few things. Sometimes it's better to have alive with the auras and things.
Exactly.
Or even if you do want to tag it within 3, but make sure it's unreachable.
Yep.
In that combat because it's got the better range. And obviously the Bloodthirsters outside of the Great Unclean One, Greater Demons don't have a ward save. You've got to pick it on the Keeper, and you don't get one for the Bloodthirster if you're in combat.
Sure.
So they do become quite squishy with only having a 4-up save innately.
Yeah, for sure. So I potentially this turn, I mean, all goes well, Nathan could actually just end up killing. Nathan could end up just killing potentially the Starseer, potentially the Slan, potentially Croak, potentially the Ashlith Bearer.
Just not the Incarnate. It's not going anywhere.
Potentially, if all goes well, Nathan could kill 5 Raptidons, a Starseer, a Slan, an Ashlith Bearer, and Croak. That's, I think, best case scenario.
He looks like he rolled a 6 there from moving the Bloodthirst or something.
Okay.
The hero phase move.
So I wonder, because he only has the one Blood Tithe, so he can either do Killer Instinct. So that must have been
that must have been Killer
the prayer
Instinct.
for Killer Instinct. Yeah, because there's no way you would Murderlust. So it looks like
he rolled a 6. So yeah,
he's done that. So yes, he rolled a 6 for the prayer. So he's going over that direction. So he's eyeing up that Starseer. We could also. We've got half an hour left here. Oh baby, we're only in turn 3, lads. Let's pick up the pace. Yeah. I think it's looking curtains for Rich here. I don't know if we need to go the full 5 rounds.
I think, yeah, realistically, Richard will probably take his 3rd turn. They'll roll prio and then just talk.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's never a fast game against Seraphon.
Yep.
Even slower when both players are so good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then thank you to. Oh my god. Oh my god, Jesus. So as you can just see, Nathan, that's his 2nd infraction. He has absolutely nailed the top-down camera. Obviously flapping, because not only has he kicked the camera twice, I'm also reliably informed by Mr. Andy Curry that his coherency on those Blood Warrior units is shocking, and I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I would say, down here, this little guy, he is not in unit coherency whatsoever. So really sloppy there from Nathan.
Yeah, it's just good that Richard's such a nice guy and doesn't make him get rid of him.
Exactly, and I think that hopefully his pupil, hopefully Nathan's pupils don't watch this, because otherwise they'd probably pick a different coach, I think, for AOS, Onwards AOS as well. And he's saying, can't see a fucking thing now. Yes, so I think what I might do is I might go and try and see if I can adjust the camera. We'll be right back. We'll put the mics on mute while I shout at Nathan, and we'll be right back. Right, thanks for being patient there, folks. So we have now fixed the camera. Nathan has been duly admonished as well for being such an idiot, and I've also made him distinctly aware that he is at risk of timing out, and that we know what that means. It means that he's going to basically force Rich into a draw type scenario, I think, is what's going to happen. Any opportunity to flame. But yeah, we've got an update, Kyle. Do you want to let us know about the update?
Yes, so update here for game 2 for Adam Turner versus his opponent there. Another one of the Northern Warrior lads. Very, very close game for Adam. A loss, sadly, 20-22 to his opponent. Running, obviously, Legion of Blood, of course.
Yep.
What else would you run nowadays? No other army worth taking, apparently.
Yep.
So many of them here. So very close game with him. I think realistically, again, Soulblight just have the models for board domination in objective things like in scenarios like this.
Yep.
Adam only has 5 models, I think. It
Can also just do damage and then don't die. That Vampire Lord just doesn't die.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Ethereal Vampire Lord, yeah.
3 up, just ignores everything. And it
back
heals,
6.
yeah.
Heals back 6 every time that does damage. You can heroic phase heal it, you can do whatever. It's pretty nutty. And obviously that with Manny, Neffy, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, very, very cool. So Turner will be licking his wounds.
Turner will be looking for 3-2 this weekend.
Look, the 3-2 at best. And particularly the fact that he's just been beaten by one of his countrymen. One of his warriors as well. So I don't know if he'll be taking the Urukai Sword of Power back down the road.
Potentially not.
Potentially not. Potentially not.
He's also a bit upset now. That means he's got to go and sit in the room of shame, the small room.
He's in the hot box.
Yeah.
He's in the hot box. So he gets to go and sit in the tiny room. The creche, as we call it as well. So he gets to go and sit in there in the ball pit and have lots of fun. But no, not at all. So there's lots of good players everywhere, really. But we'll have a look back. But anyway, talking about players and talking about tables, let's go back to table 1. So
see that Bloodthirst's moved right up.
Bloodthirster is romping straight up, along with the Blood Reavers as well. So Rich is asking how much CP that he has. So because we've only got 3 on here, so if you haven't spent any, you should have 3. So as long as Rich hasn't spent any CP, he should have 3. I'm so happy he didn't take the turn because I'd have no idea how much CP he has because he probably had about 18 or something like that. Yeah. So that's fine. And I don't think, did we actually? Yes, sorry, I forgot. We did get the battle tactic, didn't we?
Yes.
It's Scorn of Sorcery, I think it's called, or Slaughter of Sorcery.
Slaughter of Sorcery.
Slaughter of Sorcery. So we know that's what Nathan is trying to accomplish. Sorcery. Okay, we've had a lovely... Andy, you're just giving us so many compliments, mate. So, Kyle, a rare combo of having the face for TV and the voice for radio. Great addition to the team.
Oh, thank you very much.
So, if we can just stop the flirting in the chat, please, guys, and probably if you could try and give me some more attention, please. It's my show, so if Kyle just keeps getting all these compliments, I'm going to have to ask him to leave, right? Okay, so please stop.
Someone's a bit jealous.
And then he said, Turner, the pink T-shirt is calling. Now, this is an interesting one. For those of you who don't know, Northwest Warriors, they're a gaming club out of Kendal, I believe, down south, and they travel very well, so they go to most tournaments up here in Scotland, as well as tournaments in the kind of north of England as well. And they have this tradition that whoever does the worst at a tournament gets to put on a 40k T-shirt. I believe it is.
I love 40k.
I love 40k, and it's pink as well.
And it's never been washed.
And it's never, ever been washed.
It stinks.
So you can probably tell how many unwashed, sweaty Warhammer torsos that have been in that thing.
It's not just torsos as well. I can confirm it's been down Adam Turner's trousers. So it's a biohazard.
Yeah, for sure. That should actually be probably locked up in some sort of like CDC, somewhere in Atlanta maybe. But yeah, so. Yeah, he's at danger here. He's at danger.
Slipping down. I've not actually seen Adam do this badly in a very long time.
It could. Listen, it could just be obviously, as we've said, matchups are huge. Singles are so swingy. If you're able to dodge the bad matchups, you go 5-0. If you don't dodge the bad matchups, you can lose your first 2 games.
And here we've got 8 Soulblight, 8 Seraphon. The lists are very good this year,
for sure.
Absolutely. And speaking of lists, looks like we've just been given another
update. Here we go. We've got Mr. Fraser Smart, our only Slaves player, and we've got Mr. Cameron Bremner, who's
they're best friends as well. They didn't want to play each other.
We forced them to fight. There can only be one, and hopefully we didn't lose any friendships because Cameron with the Firestars managed the win 21-17, so pretty tight. Fraser Smart didn't manage his grand strat, and so really, I mean, if he'd managed that, it would have only been 1 point in it. So a very tight game there on limited resources, which is pretty cool. So I will pop that away. But yep, commiserations to Fraser, congratulations to Cameron. And I do genuinely wonder as well how many times that the players have remembered the special rule of limited resources. Is that no? Oh no, that's lines of communication, so we're fine. Don't worry about it. I was thinking there must be a special rule for this mission, but it's the fact that you siphon off.
Turn it off.
Fine.
Yes,
Sure,
yes.
perfect. Anyway, so I've just been told by Craig Graham now. Can we watch the game, please, instead of listening to stories about Turner's boss sweat? I mean, possibly. Why would you want to watch the remnants of Richard's army getting mopped up by Nathan? I don't know why. So Craig, for those of you who don't know, Craig is a washed-up player who went to Worlds and then hasn't played the game since, basically, and apparently is now moving on to 40k. What an absolute loser. No
doubt picking something busted up like Eldari. Although they just got heavily nerfed in their.
You know what he's like. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of battle scrolls, very excited for ours coming soon.
Oh yes, that's very true. So 40k just got theirs, which hopefully helps to balance things out because that's been a pretty nuts time.
Eldari will run away. Well, they've changed the rule for devastating wounds, so it no longer does mortal wounds now. It now automatically wounds you instead. So
for sure.
So that should massively help to neuter that because we were comparing the Age of Sigmar and the 40k win rates, and Eldari had something like a 73% win rate. It was
well, you would say
runaway.
It was top. Was it not top 10 of a tournament? Every single player was Eldari.
Yes, every single player was Eldari. Eldari, one of those armies though that past 2 editions they've been garbage, and then the minute they get a new book or something, they're elite again. There's a couple of armies like that I feel in both games that they'll be rubbish for an edition or two, and absolutely rubbish. But the minute they get some love, the love they get is too strong. And they become a little bit oppressive, so they do need a little bit more fine-tuning. But that's the thing with 40k, which is very interesting, I suppose, was that they all came out with no books in this edition because they completely rewrote everything. So everyone just has PDFs, so they'll all change it going forward.
Something that I hope doesn't happen to AOS.
No,
ever. I don't like the scorched earth effect of everyone gets free rules, but then we'll just make you buy back the books anyway. So I think we're in quite a good place. Right now,
all our rules are free anyway with the app and stuff anyway, which I quite like. I think 40k needed that scorched earth though because it needed a second complete rewrite after the bloat the 8th and 9th got. What's good with Age of Sigmar is it's so streamlined. It's still young. It's less than 10 years old still. And so we've got room for wiggling, we've got room for improvement, and I don't think too much actually really needs improving core rules-wise to the game. I feel like we need some better scenery rules, for sure. Things like line of sight and stuff, that you can mitigate that yourself with the scenery that you buy and block out. Line of sight blocking terrain. And something I like to adopt from 40k is that the bottom floors of buildings are you can't see through them. I like to adopt that. It helps to neuter shooting a little bit too much because we're seeing shooting becoming more and more popular now. And Age of Sigmar is not a shooting game. So that's the big issue, is the KO was so oppressive with it. Slanesh are very good shooting. We're going to see now Fusiliers, Cities of Sigmar, look to be devastatingly good. So it's kind of, we don't want it to become, 40k again with demons and other things like that.
No, for sure. So, and again, I think Sigmar basically the most of the time the scenery has very little impact on the game as well. And obviously in places like Worlds, they've tried to maybe bring the impact back because you can have like sets of wildwoods that can protect against things like shooting and magic. You've got a garrisonable terrain, you've got impassable, to try and actually make it do something other than just the mysterious rules.
Well, the mysterious rules are rubbish. We were talking about removing inspiring and sinister and just keeping them, but changing them to either add or reduce models by D3 that flee, or make you either, for inspiring, makes you immune to battle shock if you're wholly within, say, 6 inches of it.
Well,
or
that'd be
if
cool.
you are, because the 1 inch is rubbish. On the sinister means that you can't inspiring if you're within 6 inches. So I like the idea of just don't add new rules to the game. Keep the existing rules that we've got, so players know what inspiring presence is, and then just the terrain just says no, you can't do it. You can do it, and that's a lot easier to follow than we haven't rolled a 2 for arcane, so let's just ignore the damage table.
No, for sure. For sure. Okay, so let's have a look at the lay of the land here on the game table 1. So it looks as if Nathan has got his battle tactic of killing that Star Seer
Because
I don't see a Starseer anymore.
No, I don't see any Raptidons either.
Well, we've got a couple.
Two.
So he did. It looks like he did manage to do some work with the Meat Ripper axes. We've got a couple of Raptidons left up there. We've also charged down the bottom here as well into the Slan with the other 10 of Blood Reavers. It doesn't look like they've killed it. Could be that they've not swung yet, but they've wrapped around there. And then obviously we've got the Blood Warriors here that are currently tying up Croak and not quite being able to get into that Ashrath Bearer. Just because it's a garrisonable terrain, it's obviously impassable. You can't really squeeze through that gap. So Richard, I think, trying to limit the frontage of the Blood Warriors, so not as many could actually get in with a 3d6 charge.
Yeah, it's big for him to keep Ashla the Bearer alive, because I don't know if he's still within range. I think he is, within range to keep the Slan with the 5-up ward as well, which is what he's trying to do. So the fact that the Ashla Bearer can kind of tag that, keeping both of those wizards with that 5-up ward is big.
I am genuinely terrified when Nathan's walking around, because I can just see him. Every time he walks around, I think he's just going to rattle the camera again. So I'm hoping and praying that he can just stay
crashing
away.
Down on us.
So let's see what we're rolling up here. Looks like he's rolling up the Blood Reavers going into the Slan. So these guys will be getting +1 to wound because they're so close to that Bloodthirster. Okay. Doesn't look like he's hit particularly well at all.
Yeah, not many. Just 4 hits.
What's he done to the Slan? Maybe a wound or 2? Okay.
4 wounds. Alright. 2 wounds.
2 wounds.
And
Fair enough. And then we'll have Slan slapping back. Unsure if Croak has gone yet. We shall see. But yeah.
And now Matt's knocked the
And
bloody
now
camera.
Matt's decided to rattle the camera as well. Fantastic. So for this tournament, we basically said that we want as much space as possible around the streaming table, so we didn't have this to actually happen. It seems that we also need more space than it already has as well. So, yeah.
I think Matt's writing his little apology note there for us, just to bring that over in a second. That looks like Craig saying he's got major FOMO.
Major FOMO this weekend. Just a washed AOS player stuck in the Highlands. Well, I'm glad he's finally accepted that and he's come to terms with it as well.
Although he did call you out though, saying you're the one that's bought some Eldari.
Well, actually, it's fine because I've already said to Nathan that I'm not taking it. I'm going to sell that immediately as well. So that's all good. So what we've got here, we've got another result in here. We've got Mr. John Bayless versus Alistair Maxwell. It is a win to John, 27-12 for John. Resounding win there. So yeah, looks like the null. If only Alistair was null Myriad. Maybe he could have had a good game there versus John.
It's a shame when you've got a sub faction that's so oppressingly good.
Yes,
it just takes away from other ones. For example, like Mortis Praetorians is nice. The counter charge is nice. All the extra CP is nice. It actually lets Catacross work with them. And things like that, which is nice. But it's just Null Myriad's just far too good.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if perhaps they might even change it with the battle scroll, so like a 3+, perhaps 3+ perhaps, or something like that.
You think they'll keep it that low? Do you think maybe they might even take it to 4+?
A 50-50 chance. That could be doable. It could be pretty nice.
We've had another result in as well, folks. We now have our game Lee Martin versus Lewis Watson. We have Lewis Watson is on pigs. So
pigs.
He's on lots of pigs and Bloodtooths for Ironjaws, and Lee is on his Slanesh. Lee has won his second game of the weekend, so that's Lee on a 2-0, and he's beaten him 22-8. So Lee doing well with the Slanesh.
Is a very hard matchup for Ironjaws, I think, because they've got the range against the pigs. They can just sit back and dart around them. Yes, you've got all the movements and things that you can do there, but you've only got a 4-up save. All these cavalry is Ren 2, except the horses. Right. So that's quite a lot of attacks coming through them. Anything that he isn't running that's not pigs, he'd be getting +1 attack against because it's 3 or fewer wounds. So he does. It is a very fast, very good list. I'm actually interested to see what potentially could slow it down. He could get tar pitted, I suppose, is probably one of the only things I can think of. And even if he maybe KO, but he's fast enough. 32-inch threat range with with that maximum, because he gets
Wow.
he can run and charge
Yep.
with a 14-inch move.
Yep.
So very fast on those. So I'm interested to see where he does take it. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's the only Slanesh player in the tournament, so I have to root for him a little bit.
Needs to root for the Slanesh, absolutely, the Lord of Excess. So yeah, fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to go and fix the camera, and I'm also going to ask Rich what battle tactics he's taking going into turn 2. It looks like Rich has still got Kronspine. He's still got Slan, Croak, and Ashlith Bearer alive on the field. He's still got 10 skinks as well, and the little priest, the little Starseer, up in the top as well. So I'll see what the lay of the land is in a wee second. We'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. So looks as if camera seems to be fixed, and just had a wee chat there. Looks as if we've got still on Nathan's turn right now. Still been rolling hell of a number of attacks up there. It looks as if there's definitely a lot less of models sitting on this objective now. So those Raptidons must have hit back and did pretty well into the Blood Reavers that Nathan charged in. And then, yep, over here, we've still got the Blood Warriors all in combat with Croak, which is a large number of attacks. And then we've also got the Slan, Blood Reavers, and the Bloodthirster down in this space down here as well. So yeah, so Rich has still got Kronspine, he's got 10 Skinks, he's got Starseer, and he's got Croak, Ashrith Bearer, and Slat left alive, and that's him just picked up Croak. So that looks like Nathan's managed to do enough damage to then basically mean that Croak has essentially got a kind of a Kronspine-esque rule where you have to make sure that, because it didn't have a wounds characteristic, so the higher the number of damage you can do to him, the more likely it is that he will just be slain. So it looks like Nathan has done enough damage to remove Croak, and I think this is where we start to talk things out. Because I don't think that Rich is going to be able to do much, even with a level 3 Kronspine. Slan tied up in combat, Starseer on the other side of the board. It's kind of looking like all she wrote here. So I know we're getting close to time, so I reckon they'll probably start to talk things out, and we'll be looking at getting you a result on this soon. While those guys are having a chat, and then we'll maybe have a wee kind of a debrief with them, we will talk about some other results that have been coming in as well. So, or we'll start by talking some other matchups that we were looking at and looking pretty spicy as well. So we've also got Raph versus Mike. We've not had a result out of that yet, but that was looking pretty spicy. We saw Raph was going very alpha on that, so we'll see if that paid off. The Lewis Mitchell and Andy Pennington, which is going to be very interesting. We've got Trogs versus Seraphon, so I wonder if he's rolled enough 5-ups in order to stay alive from all those mortal wounds. We had Keith Brown versus Adam Rawson. So Adam running his Legion of Blood list, and we also had Keith who is running his null myriad. So again, that would have been a kind of a death off. And yeah, very interesting actually to see how that panned out. Alistair Robertson versus JJ Cropley. So Alistair managed to get the win versus Feck game 1, and then he was rewarded with 140 zombies. So maybe I need to have to catch up with Alistair to see how he's getting on over there. We've got Trev versus Stu. Very interesting. So Trev and Stu both managed to win their first games, and yeah, it'd be very interesting to see that result. A lot of mortal wounds coming out of Trev's list, but then also Stu does have quite a lot of mortal wound protection as well, so very good. We already know about the David, Bishop Miller and Callum Sinclair. We know about John into Alistair, Lewis Watson into Lee. Yes, there's quite a few here. We've got Josh Lowe into Will Crookshanks as well. Okay, so again, even more zombies to see. We've also got Frank Kelly on Verkos Dynasty with the zombies as well into Craig Worsley. So we'll catch up on that as well. And we know about Adam Turner. Yeah. So, any more updates that come in from Matt, we'll definitely keep you guys posted. And we should be nearing the end of the round very, very soon. And hopefully catching up with Nathan and Rich as well as they kind of chat out the rest of the game over there. Also, so let's have a wee look back. Let's see here. So really, I think for me, it's looking at what tactics could Rich do just now. Considering the things have died, I'm reckoning we're going to have at least 3 or 4 blood tithe, I think, for Nathan, possibly more, which means that he could just auto dispel. Or auto unbind an endless spell. So I don't know if magical dominance would be on, or if Rich could potentially go for it. Nathan did get Slaughter of Sorcery. We know that. That Star Seal is dead. There we go. Thank you very much, Matt. We've also got another update from Matt as well, which we will also go over. So looks like we've got one game. Let's just bring up the lists here. So we've got. Let's see. We've got Connell Brosnan. Ooh, very nice. Versus Henry Hunt. Which I believe is a euphemism. And Connell has won 28 to 10. So we'll have a look at what Connell's running. Connell is running the Big Wah. Oh, we have a third Big Wah player. Fantastic. Great to see. So he's running the Mega Boss. He's running 2 War Chanters, Wargog Prophet, and I swear to God, if somebody hits my camera one more time, because, well, the game's pretty much over. So then we've got 5 Ard Boys, 5 Ard Boys, 5 Ard Boys, 2 Sixes of Bolt Boys, and 3 Gold Grunters. So very interesting Big Wah list. He's actually taken in some Bolt Boys for this one, so a shooting Big Wah list. Quite cool. And he was facing off against Henry. So let's just check what Henry was rocking. Henry rocking Seraphon, Kotal's Claw. So yeah, looks like Connell was able to handily deal with that. So very big congratulations to Connell and commiserations to Henry. So I'm going to go and have a chat with these lads and see if we've finally got some sort of a result here. As I say, we're coming down to time, so I want to see if we can actually get a result here. So give me 2 wee seconds. Okay, so there we have it, folks. I've just went and had a chat with Rich and Nathan there, and it looks as if the lay of the land at the end of that game is 28 to Nathan and 15 to Rich. Congratulations to Nathan, obviously, and commiserations to Rich. It was looking like quite a bit of an uphill struggle for him. Near the end of the game there, they were just kind of having a nice chat about how clutch the Blood Warriors piling in and fighting for the Blood Tithe, how clutch that was to tag that Cronspine, so it's not going to be able to do anything. So yeah, really, really big. So we're going to have a wee chat with them in a couple of minutes, have a nice kind of a rundown. But based on that, we'll make sure that Nathan gets awarded with the victory. So that'll be victory to Korn. Fantastic. There we go. And yeah, we're going to have a wee chat with the guys in a couple of minutes. We'll let them kind of debrief. Well, not debrief. We'll just let them have a nice wee chill time. They'll pack up for a wee bit. We'll have a wee chat with them, and then we need to get things rocking for round 3. So yeah, not quite finished for today. We've got one more stream after this, and then that's us done for today. So I will just stick it on a little ad break, and then we'll be right back very shortly. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and we're back. So we have the two top table players. We've got we've got Nathan Watson and we've got Richard McQuarrie here. So welcome, guys. That was a really nice game to watch. We had some audio issues at the start of the game, which meant that we lost quite a wee bit. Don't think it hampered it too much because Kyle was able to come over and get a summary of you, and then we picked right back up from the kind of end of turn 1, which was really nice. But yeah, that was really nice to see. I could see that it was a very kind of almost very tense chess match going on between you guys. So someone want to talk us through it?
Yeah, I'll go. So I need to actually hold it that close.
Well, you have to be that close, yeah.
Let's see if I get closer. So I took turn 1.
Yep.
Just to try and flex on the Bellicor, and also I was outside of Unbind range.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to go first, I was able to get inside the Unbind range just to make battle tactics a bit harder. And if I could get the Blood Tithe kind of rolling early on, then it puts threat under the battle tactics like Magical Dominance. Just being able to stop that board wide. So went first, got my buffs up. Everything went off, got the hero phase move with a prayer, and I was able to get Surround and Destroy. And then in Rich's turn 1, the plan was to put Bellicor's ability on the Slan.
Yep.
Because the options were kind of Slan or the Kronspine, but I don't feel as if I'm really that worried about the Kronspine. As soon as he goes somewhere, it's quite easy for Marmy to kind of grab it with Murderlust.
Yeah.
It can't retreat from itself. And then I just kind of strung the unit out so that I was able to pile the Blood Warriors in if the unit, like Bellicor that was pinning it, died.
Yep.
But I failed the roll on the 3+ to stop the Slan casting any spells, which would have been good tempo for stopping the kind of constellation points and Rich being able to do what he wants to do. So in his turn, he was able to pretty much do your whole hero phase as you wanted.
A lot of points generated sort of thing. So then in my turn, based on the way that Nathan's moved forward, I had to go for the Seraphon tactic to take back off an objective from him, which with the ability to move in the hero phase into me, I had to do it with a retreat, so it was pretty dicey to do it. But then I had a really good hero phase, thanked helpfully by Bellicor failing to actually roll the 3 up. So I mean, I was able to get a lot of points generated, put some skinks into a back corner to set up for a Surround and Destroy the next turn, and then also managed to get the incarnate leveled up sort of thing. So he sort of swung out to flank, managed to cap 5 points there, and then we went over to Nathan. Nathan's quite a hard spot for you because you're kind of normally you're wanting to give it a turn, but like because of the situation on the board, it's pretty hard for you to do that.
Yeah. So talk us through that, because we were kind of thinking Nathan's in a not bad position here. He could potentially give it, but then you decided, no, I'm going for it.
Yeah. So Rich actually did something quite interesting with the Kronspine. I was expecting the Kronspine to either go after my Blood Reaver units to kind of come round the flank, or come straight into the Blood Warriors to kind of stop me moving forward.
Yep.
But when he went out on the flank, I took the opportunity to redeploy forward 3 inches as well, so I was getting closer to his home objective. And then when I got the Prio, he charged his Endless Spell and had the option to pile in to within 3 of the Warriors, I think, but he chose to stay just out. That might have been quite big. I think if you had tagged me, I probably would have given the turn away to try and break my coherency and go for the double. So maybe it was the right call.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of give options so I could push out around the side, because of the range of the endless spells, I felt like kind of just like there was a big part of defensible terrain, but I felt that I had to move it to potentially get round and see how I rolled on my runs sort of thing and my charges. So yeah, just trying to make you think basically.
Yeah.
I managed to just shove the Blood Warriors in, which pinned all of his wizards along the back board edge.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I was able to get quite close to him, and the Blood Tithe in Rich's turn, as soon as he killed Bellicor, I went from 3 to 4.
Yep.
And that allowed me to pile in the combat phases and pile in the hero phase as a fight action.
Yep.
So I was able to get through is like we actually had I pointed it out to him, which was probably a mistake, just because as a Khorne player you kind of flex on people when you get blood tied to kind of get in their head, but it actually worked against me because I was like, oh well, that's me at 4, I can pile in there.
Yep.
And he clocked it and he went, right, well, I'm going to spend constellation points to return D3 Saurus guards. He only had 1.
That's how they came back.
Yeah,
Right, I was
so
because I was like, can he rally into combat? And I was like, no, right, okay, so you can spend that for there,
so I was
right,
like,
okay.
right, I probably shouldn't have said anything, but then it ended up working out all right because I got rid of them.
Yep.
And his retreats were hampered, and then I got prio again into turn 3.
Yep.
It was from that point I was kind of pushing, I encircled all his
Yeah,
wizards,
when I'd
basically.
seen that the Blood Warriors were free, I was like, right, okay, so they're now just down your throat there at that stage.
I made so I made quite a big mistake in that Croak's got a fight last ability, and had a chance to do it into the Blood Warriors, which are bravery 6+1. So there was a chance to basically make them. So I could basically pile in to sort of stop them getting towards Croak. Croak did survive that activation, but it was bad for the actual subsequent next turn. Yeah, and then really I was also very much hoping to win pile into 3. I still had a chance at that point because I would be able to teleport the slant out of there, still start generating summoning points, but then losing that meant that all the slant didn't die in your turn 3. There was no way to get him out after that point.
Yeah, of course, just totally pinned. Well, as I say, guys, it was an awesome game to watch. As I say, it was kind of like a very kind of a tense, quite a cagey chess match. I generally wanted to see what the magic versus the anti-magic kind of game would look like. But it looked as if you had quite a really good board control very early on, Nathan. In that mission, you really were able to push into the objectives that are further away from you to then get the ones later in the game, which is exactly what you want to do. But yeah, really great game to watch. And so obviously congratulations to yourself. Commiserations to Rich, but I'm sure you guys both enjoyed it, and I wish you all the best for your game 3 as well today. So that's us. So I think what we'll do, folks, we'll sign off there. Thank you very much for tuning in, and hopefully you tune in for our game 3 today, our last stream of the day, and hopefully all goes well. So we'll pick back up with you from then. So it's goodbye from me.
Yep, see you later.
Bye.
See you later, guys. Bye bye.